Hello everyone, good evening to you all and welcome to the 71st staging of the Cork City Sports here at the MTU track.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the excitement builds, we welcome you once more to the MTU Stadium. What a fantastic facility we have here in Cork. The sun is shining, our athletes are ready, and they're all competing for the Victor O'Neill Trophy, which goes to the best international athlete of the league in Israel later on. As ever, if you just come to Cork, we have food stalls behind the main stand, and you'll also find toilet facilities there as well. Our action will be getting underway shortly, and I'll be handing you over to the voice of our athletics. Liam Logan.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you to my colleague Cork Kelly, who is assisting leading the track and field competition against athletics. So it falls on me to welcome you here at the College to 10 prestigious Cork City Sports. Welcome to the 71st version, 76 years after the first one. Welcome to this wonderful refurbished MTU facility, and the welcome especially to the athletes from Cork, Northern Ireland, from Europe, South America, and 20 countries in all. Welcome to the national champions, those who wish to become national champions. Welcome to those who are Olympians, and those who wish to become Olympians. We thank you very sincerely for being here. We thank the athletes, the coaches, the officials, the spectators, the volunteers in many different roles throughout the day. We thank you for being supportive and being part of a collective that wants nothing more than the good evenings of faculty and athletics. Athletes are an inspiration. It takes courage to compete. It takes courage to start. So let us praise, celebrate, applaud, cheer, and admire those who compete. Don't just sit there. Be part of the activity. Others have sported and played in this same venue before. Tonight is our night. And Cork City Sports 2025 begin. Thank you. That race is due to begin at 5:40 p.m. People here today remember 1984 when you set it again, and each record stood as world record at the time. 4 times the world record went to happen that evening, and imagine that officials and spectators remember that night very, very well. So I was thinking of the time of people born then. Backstage you can see the estimated 28 colours of the Leisureworld Ireland sponsors, 2,000 meters open and men, and maybe some details of them as the way they head for the way. The way of spectating is a bit more difficult with mid-distance races. This 3,000 is of course 2,000 on the night. There will be a women's international 3,000 meters and a men's international 3,000 meters with some really competitive, fairly prospect there. The great deal for the 3 record holder. We were running in the 3,000 meet, broke the under 20 record here a number of years ago. Sarah Healy made the under 23 record here a number of years ago as well. That record has been broken by Sophie O'Sullivan. Some numbers you can look for there in the 3,000 number 6 that in O'Leary started at the 11. He's called another coach here in Cork, Edison with Cork's 9 so going and riders. James Highland from Raheem Shamrocks in Dublin is wearing number 15. He was heading in the 9-year-old race in Qatar on Sunday. Dennis Compton from St. Limbars, and of course they're running on this track, very popular on roads, tracks across countries, Cork. Barry Conway wearing number 25. He's the nephew of the great Seamus Power, 1 times champion across country in Ireland. And Barry leads us to the B race, number 23 Tullamore last week. We even have Tipperary after having the Territory to come down here to Cork. Number 26 is Keane Hyden. Them and more. The Ireland 3,000 meters. 7.5 laps of the track when they get going.
That's live.
Just hand off Norway, stepping in the hammer circle out, take that final draw of the first round of the competition. Nicola total of, and then you see off the front of the wall, the first draw of 68 meters, 89 centimeters. president of Junior Women's Hammer competition 1636. So it's our first round total. It might be slightly further if you go over to the screens just next to the hand page. You see the distance pop up there. So 6132. Just a little further. We're working on these things here in the 6396 minutes. So you jump 190.
After tours of Ireland, just picking up their hammers and going on and pulling them up on the monk, so it's great to see the whole idea of the maybe bouncing the day at this event.
It's probably somewhere else.
So these arrows are getting all. So doing 5 rotations. Trying to make the arrows. Anything slightly off the arrows and outside sector. So they're really going for it. So put your hands together out for Nicola Tuttle. She's stepping into the circle now for her second round throw. And I have it going in the mid-high jump. So another big throw, hopefully so you get up to 70 metres tonight. So you keep an eye on the screen next to the hammer cage there, you'll see the distance pop up very shortly.
That was a big throw on the hammer.
Right on the button, the 28 registered athletes in the Athletics Ireland 3000 and Open race underway. There is a case to ask the weather at the moment. There is 7 Cork clubs represented, EL, Edinburgh, East Cork, Cork City, Sydney, Mallow, and North Cork, and to support them. 10 additional country counties to Cork: Clare, Laois, Tip, Dublin, Limerick, Wexford, Kildare, Westmeath, Meath, and Carlow in a truly national and open 3,000 metres. So 7 laps ahead of them. Beautiful day for spectating, as I say. Very difficult to land the A for runners. I think that's Bernie Collins from Ennis on into second place in the red singlet. She finished first in the B race in Tullamore, then divided up the races in a very long B race in Cork, just outside 4 minutes. I mentioned the number 6 is Daniel Oakley from the Ulster BL. He's coached by Ken Mason. 9 and Ransom 5, and Ken Mason is one of those. Barney, Daniel, Seamus Carr, and he was into mid-distance runners at the age of 19. Seamus Carr was a durable, tough cross-country runner. He had like the group and points along the yard. He was sped up and the next day has 6 laps remaining. And Maroon and White with the holding bar. Just to say it, yes, John Dolan, but there's a young forward fella now that not the younger generation know. John Ryan from the holding bar this evening. The coming in second, Steve Red, yellow, and Tala.
Men's 10s, yeah. Very good, excellent. Guys, you can see here, yeah. Just stay along here and you can capture.
So it's Ryan, Collins, and Hodgins are 1, 2, 3, the early stages of this 3,000 metres, and you can look forward and whet the appetite to 2 or 3,000 metre races before the days at Kentucky mile.
So if you give me a quick update there on the square and minutes pole, arrows down to 2 metres 60. 2 inches not there, not there. You can see and Karen hanging there for 4 to 10 eyes. Just let this up. In the mid-time, the competition arrows get up to 190 Getting to touch it there with Stephen Lee for the second round.
Yeah, he's on it.
Okay, next control as we start the third round. Following start the entire competition.
Still on slide,
My marking guy seems to be standing there.
And then from the front to turn over on Saturday, obviously, beginning to feel that this is the way to do it. And there's a little bit of space between him and the chasing group now. How is he feeling? Remembering that early pushing in front of her, he's going to get 2 laps at this stage. And he hasn't fought off the leaders of this two female fellows beginning to come right up there, including Daniel Buckley, the tall figure, looking more comfortable as they go on. Smith at the moment going to get the next time. He has been called by Smith at this stage, so he's tactical as they go down there. There is a little wind on the back stage, you see, because it is getting now forward behind all the conditions on the basis. It's open race, those all ages, the standards are still there coming up the home straight. Wishing that I would be on that at this stage. Has gone into 3rd place, Smith in 4th place, 2 Smiths now over the leading 4. Helen Smith with the 3 and a half moment, Ernie Conley still not on, and Daniel Buckley, who has never really had to whip up the lead, but he's using some of the tactical stuff he's picked up from Mason. There is a battle in the last 300 metres. As the 28B and the 10, 11 counties went all over the MTU track.
Really good, and there's a winner. Yeah, look how high he's entertaining that.
Female 1 and 2 had a good start to the sport at this stage. Buckley, who hasn't been up here at all at all, and he had come and over the jump. Buckley again is coming up on 7th, and the overtake
They just said something about the hammer throw being completed. I don't know if that's heat or what.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first presentation of the evening will take place right here on the pitch. First race is event over 3,000 meters, highly sponsored by Athletics Ireland. And our presentation partly here is the LeisureWorld CEO, Greg Golden, the President of LeisureWorld, and of course our own Frank Wiley, President of Cork City Sports. In third place, representing the UK, Brendan Smith. Second, in the men's over 3,000 meters, representing Tara, Atletico, Owen Smith. And the winner, the men's open 3,000 meters, sponsored by Athletics Ireland, representing League Daniel Rossi.
Start of the under 13 girls 600 metres. We got Nisha Nicole from London, Anna from Blanchard, Jessica Steed, Cardigan Road Runners, Eamon McNamara from Rage Moy, Ashley Rourke from Middleton, Annie Maloney from Cork AC, Sophie O'Connor from St. Catherine's, Eva Rourke from Dover, Bellica, and the Gentleman Clan from West Osprey, and Freya Keane from Lawn. They are beginning the rally with black dogs. 600 metres for under 13 are really difficult races to do.
Women's high jump competition requires number 2 meters 10. Chanting still on that competition.
Ashley Rourke leading down there. Ashley from Middleton. Maloney from Cork. Cork is 60 metres behind with West Osprey. And the Gentleman Clan certainly not out of it. It's brave by Ashley Rourke. 600 metres when you turn around by that straight along is a really long way up the home straight to the under 13s. Lead on in your race and sport as Ashley Rourke from Middleton AC. Turning right and neck up at the start. The other from the Gentleman Clan coming in from the outside. North by Annie Maloney. Nisha McNamara, and look at this for an exciting battle. But a great win by Ashley Rourke. And a wonderfully exciting battle for second, third, fourth. The real winners are those who learn early that they never want to stop. And they continue into next week. And remember their day at the 71st Cork City Sports. Battling right to the end. The Cork County sponsored 600 metres for girls under 13.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next presentation
It's there.
600 metres under 13 girls, sponsored by the Cork Athletics.
Boys are next then.
The presentation party will include Mr. Allen, the chairman of Cork Athletics, representing Cork City Sports Ireland. In third place, representing London AC, Nisha Nicole.
She's extended her lead. Keep an eye on the screen there with the 69.90 is what she was in this competition last year. 70.02. Cork City Athletic Club, Cara Cullinan, City Athletic Club, Eamon Hurley, Leeville, Josh Miller, North Cork, Luke Murphy, Riverstick Kinsale, Ronan Ganey, St. Catherine's, Ronan Crowley, Porter, Sean O'Donoghue, West Musgrave, and Jay Watch from All AC, the winner of the Hamilton, is related to Cara Kennedy, got the athlete of the years old, and being last form happy together. They're spread out a little bit more than the girls were. 300 metres to go. The back straight, the curve, and the home straight, and the racing of that kind of support coming all the way along. And the same happens to Ronan Ganey, the very name that is associated with Hands to Wearing, even though primary school, maybe some of the beginning secondary school, definitely starting their summer holidays. Ronan Ganey from St. Catherine's still leads down that final corner. None of them seem to be hanging to rest. There's a beautiful fluency and athleticism that I hope they maintain right through the years. Number 13, they can back in the seniors. There is a big rush up the home straight. Ronan Ganey from St. Catherine's. And he's never really and in green shape all the way down. It's a wonderful run. Ronan Ganey seems to be St. Catherine's. The socks that are still in the socks, right to the village, but it's also really sitting in there, see on that internet, with the crew coming in on. And again, look at that joyful effort, right all the way to the line. Well done, you're wonderful. Thank you for your support. Just 2 meters, 15 centimeters.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next presentation takes place on the field in the 600 meter race for under 30 boys, again sponsored by Cork Athletics. And the presentation party will include Mr. Allen, the Chairman of Cork Athletics, the President of the Cork City Sports, Mr. Frank Raleigh. In third place, representing Cork City AC, Paul Jordan. In second place, representing Battery AC, the young woman of Dara, Ira McEnany. And the winner of the 600 meters under 13 boys, the event sponsored by Cork Athletics, representing St. Catherine's AC, Roland Haney.
So the big centimeters, 65 centimeters. Going into the 6th round of competition. And hit the top joint. The women's ball competition are 3 meters 55. They are and the rest going again. They must be getting ready for the first attempt at 2 meters 15 centimeters in the men's high jump. International junior player there a few weeks ago in the PT competition.
And either holding a banner or walking to the Riverlea Hotel, please make your way to the presentation period. Holding a banner or walking.
No, I'm just saying, the least massive is the way possible. The most
So we're not flying around with the sharp again, stepping into the circle.
The only reason I had all looking was I wanted to get things yeah, I heard that kid. You're getting all shit. Yeah,
Kerrigan also from the representing Ireland in the Students International very soon. Matthew Mahoney is wearing number 4. He's from Middleton and he got second in the under 16 school mile. And while I mentioned that, number 18, Ruby Devereaux from Youghal, well, he won in the under 16 mile at the schools. And welcome home from Leeds University, where before he went there, he was coached by Tony Walsh to Ryan McCarthy, who's wearing number 20. And that's Ryan McCarthy, who's leading. O'Sullivan the second. O'Sullivan is coached by Joe Hawke. And O'Sullivan the second in the National Junior 800 metres to Sean Cronin, which is last weekend. So the former athletes very much there. Sean Cronin, one of our top juniors, he's hoping to win his junior mile and the 100 metres on Friday. So Ryan McCarthy, back on holidays in his first year as Irish in Gardaí, O'Sullivan in second place. And Luke Kerrigan in third. Luke will be representing Ireland in the schools, International Ireland, England, Scotland, Wales. Remember, the hotel sponsors Junior 1500 metres. McCarthy leads. O'Sullivan, second in the National Junior, second in this race last year. So has the experience. Yeah, doing very well. Luke Kerrigan is up there. Very well spread out. National Junior record holder, you will see him in action in the senior 2,000 metres. These athletes grow up and become adults very, very quickly. So McCarthy, year of experience in the NCAA circuit. Ronan O'Sullivan just behind him. And give them all the welly as they get up there. That's showing the lap marker, they're going to get down.
So stepping into the hammer circle now for our final throw, it's Nicola Tutton of UCD in Bandon. Currently leading the competition with a best throw of 70 metres, 65 centimetres.
O'Sullivan, McCarthy, Kerrigan, and Leon Driscoll from Lee Hale. So very Lee Hale dominated, and they're wearing the Lee Hale singlets this time. O'Sullivan now beginning to walk well. Over on second last year, second in the National Junior 800 metres, beginning to test his speed. McCarthy in second place. As the NCAA taught him anything tactically, it's O'Sullivan and McCarthy at the goal. And O'Sullivan still holding on. Second last year, determined to turn on the way that the level was the head of the track. Joe Hawke trains him. O'Sullivan, McCarthy has to give up the second place. Luke Kerrigan falls to the church. Third, O'Sullivan from Middleton, coming on the second place last year. A wonderful one was to see the River King Foxford Junior 1500 metres. They have been back in the greens of that one more at the moment in order of our top seniors. The day will come when these athletes. This is something to walk around, Harry, our seniors from tennis. Mostly up, wonderful grass track there that we were doing so much coaching and inspiration. We won or lost, but how we played the game. Let's give all those juniors, give them a line. What a good thing, wonderful. They'll be back, they have years and years ahead of them. Thank you all very much.
Another big Cork City Sports cheer for Nicola Tutton of UCD in Bandon and Echo.
Junior 1500 metres. Thank you very much. Junior
getting close there to Junior Women MTU in the C103 and 96 women's high jump competition. So he's one more attempt at 2 meters 20. So unfortunately the wind's picked up there, so that'll make it difficult there for the high jump.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next presentation is the 1500 meters junior men's race. Flying sponsored by your referee, Dominic Connection Cork, our world leaders, the Royal Parliament General Manager, and our Cork Marketing Manager, that are continuing support of the Cork City Sports. The presentation partly will include Mr. Tommy O'Connell, the Vice President of Cork City Sports, and Mr. Frank Wiley, President of Cork City Sports. In the third place, representing League, Luke Berrigan. In second place, also representing League, Ryan McCarthy. And the winner of the 1500 junior men sponsored by the referee, representing Middleton, Ford O'Sullivan.
I started in like 2 weeks. That is not
Women's high jump. And it's
Juniors is underway in the MTU sponsor Junior Women's 800 meters. Here to the West Australia, Lucy Shannon and Jack Duff, here in the City, leading second to Cork City. Last year's winner, Kane Lang, from the end of track off, tall figure red and white. Siobhan Green, West Australia. Holly O'Boy, from the end of track off, fourth last year. William Flannery from ceremonies under red and white to the east. John Deere, the football manager, got the Cork quarter from Maine. Emily Cohen from West Australia, Rebecca O'Neill from West Australia, and Katie Hennessy, who got a second between Hennessy and Sue senior steeplechase. A top class, MTU sponsors Junior Women's 800 meters. They're going to get the hell of this time.
So just to quickly give you an overview of the rules there in the vertical jump competitions. So in the pole vault and the high jump, so 3 consecutive fails, even if they're different heights, that means they're out. If the event athletes are jumping the same height, if the athlete who jumped that height in the fewest attempts, will be deemed the winner, and if there's still a draw, then we're going to count back, counting the total number of fails each athlete has in the competition. So pole vault bars at 3 meters 45 at the moment. As you'll see there, in between each jump there, they're adjusting the bars to put them forward and back, so that's taking out of the athlete's different. 5 points, so Una Price, British under 23 champion, I'll take a first attempt on 3:45.
Yeah, you're checking the camera.
So far, she just catches you there with her legs. She has 2 more attempts. Before we now get ready for a second attempt at that height.
For starters in the LeisureWorld and Cork Sports Partnership, 800 metres wheelchair, and there'll be greater details. Those who came there, you might have been noticed them warming up, and they'll make a greater detail of that. and Crockwell in Ireland, whichever way you like to put it. In the 100 metres, the para athletes have been accommodated in the Cork City Sport for many years. Now, full complete stopping the way some of the track events back in the 80s. The nature of the sports, the way that there's Irish athletes who are always up there ready to compete. James Nolan won the 100 metres here 27 years ago, now the athletics manager at the Paralympics. Alison O'Riordan is here today to help us.
Actually, yeah, we've gone into the smaller basket.
Each athlete has a very personalised chair. The bucket that they sit in is personalised to their shape and size. Obviously, they seek out an aerodynamic position as much as possible. There is a compensator there on the front. You'll see them adjusting as they get to the bends, because the bends on every track are slightly different. You'll see their hands come off the wheels and hit the compensator. That would have been adjusted during warm-up. And of course, the wheels are carbon fibre wheels. They're the best of the best, Lees and Castellano. They'll be in the LeisureWorld and Cork Sports Partnership. 800 metres. Two of the athletes here, Anna Cockcroft and Shauna.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next presentation on the pitch is the 800 metres junior race for women, highly sponsored by MTU. And the presentation party will include Mr. Michael Loftus, External Services MTU, representing the Cork City Sports, will be Kerry O'Rourke, and the winner will receive the Chris Harrington Memorial Perpetual Cup. And the presentation party there will include Chris's wife Claire, his son Callum, and his brother Shane. In third place, representing Skourie AC, Weaver Flannery. In second place, representing Ennis Traclo, Ollie O'Boyd. And the winner of the 800 Junior Women Race, sponsored by the MTU, also representing Ennis Traclo, Faye Mannion. And Faye will also receive the Chris Harrington Memorial Professional Cup. And that presentation party will include Chris's wife Claire, his son Callum, and his brother Shane. Guys, will you come in for the photograph?
On your mark. Set.
And the
Just fantastic. Next field will be the mixed football competition, or sorry, the mixed long jump competition. You can see the athletes there warming up in front of the stand.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next presentation on the pitch is the high jump from men, sponsored by Cork 96 and C103 FM. And the presentation party will include Mr. Ken Curran, Cork 96 and C103, and representing Cork City Sport, our meet director this evening, Mr. Mark Wall. Ladies and gentlemen, join second representing the also join second representing
No, they're jumping this way, isn't it? Yeah, I'll go back.
Good luck.
Competition, successfully retaining our Cork City Sports title.
This 100 meters is the third series of 100 meter races that have taken place over the last few years. First, each and then under second place, this third race, Cork City Sports, something they all the way and Dublin. So this is a mixed class. Normally they race the same race. It is their third time to do it. It is their third venue, initiative. And as we're the Paralympics, they all know that I'm the third one.
You want to head on, you do a wonderful job for Paralympics and increasing standards. It's just
He's coach to Northern Ireland Club done by Paul and in the Junior Youth and Paralympics, Metro St. Bridget's Club of Dublin, and he's coached by Mark and Paralympics in LeisureWorld, then Ambulant 100 metres. Boys, Ryan, Lee, Sheedy, and third in their series. Lift the room off. Down to the 100 metres. Boyle, Ryan, Lee, Sheedy, and current 3 races. Nationally double graded meetings at LPT. Obviously wasn't happy with the start there, so again from the inside lane 3 we have Damien Boyles from Roy Valley. Lane 4 is Junior Women also from Roy Valley, that's Savannah. 5 is Conor Ryan, West Musgrave. Alex Lee is 6, Aaron Sheedy 7, and Dara Mackett 8.
sponsored by Inspired Credit Union, and presenting Paralympics. Here we welcome the marketing manager, amazing football, Inspired Credit Union. Mr. Frank Wally will represent Cork City Sports. The winner, representing Ireland, UCC and Cork, Nicola Tuttle, with a show of 7 meters 65.
In the women's floor called Cork was successful first 10 at 3 meters 55 meters. So you see the athletes there warming up now for the next round of field events. Men's shot putters, women's high jumpers, and men's long jump. So we'll be introducing those athletes very shortly. Starting off the men's long jump, which is a 7 o'clock start.
Just for 3 moments, and the international sports anthem and the organization here in MTU Stadium. Very welcome to tonight's meeting. Fantastic season for the hosts. Every recent event is full, and we welcome all of your council from the and all the dignitaries to tonight's event. Ladies and gentlemen, can I ask if you could, can you please stand for our national anthem? All on the liberty. Ladies and gentlemen, our next presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, and in 3 years, vocal cords I want to really compliment at this stage. They did very well. And a big round of applause to each of the athletes. The Cork City Council sponsors 100 litres for Special Olympics senior men. Let's see it. 1881, Eamon Cooney from Edinburgh. In lane 3, this right, Seamus Doyle. In 4, from Muscovy, Special Olympics Club, Paul Conlon. Cameron Brosnan, the three together Special Olympics Club. In lane 6, Shane Kelleher from the Limerick City Special Olympics Club. In lane 7 is John Fox Sang from three together Special Olympics Club. And here is your lane 3, O'Sullivan from the Leaside Legends Special Olympics Club. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the competitors in the Special Olympics senior men's 100 meters.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next presentation on the field is the 4x1 for women, kindly sponsored by Cork Paralympics. The presentation shortly will introduce the state Adams, President of Cork City Sports, Frank Wiley, and our first citizen, Lord Mayor, Councillor Trevor. In third place, representing the AAC, Arnold Berger. In second place, representing the AAC, Una Rice. And the winner, the 4x1 for women, sponsored by Sport Ireland, representing Middleton AAC, Penny Cockery.
competition getting underway at 7:15.
Especially the competitors of 100 meters women, race one, sponsored by Central. Very exciting, unpredictable class race. It's expected to be one. Twice Irish indoor 60 meter champion, Molly Scott, starts for two. And then two Irish 60 meter champion, Fernando Valley, Sarah Lee. And then three. Dale Hanley on the night with. In then four, the Mexican champion record holder, Cecilia Dale Carraza, who was beating the last stage, which is faster than she had Irish record. In then five, this is the achievements of Dr. Gerard with Cork. I just announced her as the Ambulant full of 50. Indoor 60 meters, all the way from Nigeria, in seven, knowledge, and in comprising 8 starters in this, representing Great Britain is Lenny Knight. Winner here, Sarah Leahy 2, Lenny Knight 3, Cecilia Chileo Garza 4, Dale Healy is in 5, Kieran Neville is 6, Knowledge Mahool is in 7, United is in 8, what was the new record last time was with the support of Queen.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next presentation is for the 100 meter Paralympic Ambulant in a race that was sponsored by Paralympics and LeisureWorld. Presentation shortly will include the Grand Finalist, the CEO of LeisureWorld, Mr. Craig Martin, Cork City Sports Partnership, Alison O'Reilly, Paralympic Ireland, and Mr. Frank Wally, President of the Cork City Sports. Third place, representing Cork City Others, Alex Lee. In second place, representing White ACC, Bernard Rouen. And the winner of the 100 meter Paralympic Ambulant in a race sponsored by LeisureWorld Paralympics Ireland, representing West Musgrave ACC, Cathal Ryan.
Junior under 23 and senior records now.
Hello everyone, good evening to you all and welcome to the 71st staging of the Cork City Sports here at the MTU track. I'm Trevor Welch, and great to have you with us on a night when the likes of Phil Healy and Nicola Tuthill will be hoping to sparkle in the Cork sunshine. Now the men's 100 metres is one of the strongest events tonight, featuring 4 men who've run 10.1 seconds, among them Irish record holder Israel Olatunde. So, ranking points up for grabs tonight, world ranking points. What does the evening hold in store? Well, let's find out and get to our commentary team.
Continental Tour bronze level meeting. I'm Cathal Dennehy. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by my longtime sidekick Gerard O'Donnell. Gerard O'Donnell, how are you, Ger?
I'm very well, thank you, Cathal. Another glorious evening down here in Cork at our annual favourite event of the year, which they paid us to say to start off the gig. But you can see the action up on the screen there already, that schedule that we have. Busy evening coming right up, and we just saw the main programme of the track kicked off with that women's 100 metres just previous to this. A blistering 11:33 or 36 on the clock there for Mabel Akande to win that one. The wind just slightly above the legal limit, but the sun is shining and the wind is blowing the right direction for the sprinters, especially Cathal. So we're in for a great evening here.
Let's expect some blazing times, or at least decent times, Joe.
Yeah, for sure.
Distance runners might not like it too much, but that wind, I'm sure, will die down a bit throughout the evening. We will have some quality middle distance races, as you can see, coming up. They'll be getting going at about 7:30, wrapping up with the men's mile at 9 p.m. And of course, this is the first of twin meets, I suppose, across the Irish professional circuit across 3 days, with the Morton Games to follow on Friday. About 50-something athletes who are competing in Cork will be heading up to Dublin on a coach. But as we know, Ger, they're in the real capital now.
Absolutely, yeah. So we have kicked off the main programme with the 100 metres for the women. The men will be right up next, 2 races in that one, and you can see we'll also have lots of field event action kicking off just at this moment. The men's long jump, the women's high jump. We've already had a fantastic women's hammer competition earlier today, which hopefully we'll get a quick recap of a little while later. But men's pole vault on there as well, and lots of distance action, as you say, Cathal. So 2 hours of full action coming right up, and the sun is shining. As we say, it's for athletes and fans alike. We're looking for that weather conditions to play ball, give us some good conditions, and we can just have a quick look back on that hammer competition now, Cathal.
Yeah, this came up a little bit earlier on. It was at about 5:30, so wrapped up well before we were on air, but it was a very high quality competition. Hopefully we'll be getting a look at some of the highlights. Of course, a local star in action.
Yeah, so there was
Nicola, congratulations, a win at the Cork City Sports. What do you make of your performance overall tonight?
Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm delighted to get the win tonight. Second proudest driver in a competition, so happy with that, but also always looking for more. But yeah, I'm happy it's consistently getting a bit better all the time, so hopefully keep pushing it out there, and I'm delighted to get the win at home. And there's such a brilliant crowd, which makes it extra special.
Yeah, and 2 throws over 70 metres tonight, which you must be pleased with.
Yeah, I had 2 throws over 70, so happy with that consistency, and hopefully I can just build on that as the summer goes on.
Yeah, not your best throw. What's your best throw? 71, is it?
Yeah, 71 is my best.
Weren't
so I'm
too far
always
off
looking. Yeah, exactly. Not too far off, just over a metre, but I'm always looking for more. So hopefully I can keep pushing it on as the summer goes on.
So what's next?
I've European under-23s next week now, so that'll be next, and then World University Games is the week after. So busy rest of July, and then Nationals after that, and then keep competing and hopefully World Championships in September. So kept busy.
Yeah, indeed. And just finally, before we leave us, Nicola, a great crowd here tonight. Stand is full. The atmosphere is really good, isn't it, here tonight? And the weather, of course, as well.
Yeah, I think the weather makes it so much better for us athletes, and then having so many people, it just makes it so good, and it's so nice to see such a massive crowd out. And every time I'm going to the circle, you can hear people cheering, which just puts you in such a good mood and makes you excited to compete.
Well done tonight, Nicola.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, great to hear there from Nicola Tuttle, who is in fantastic form. The native of Bandon, about a half an hour away from the venue here, and of course a student at UCD, and she is in brilliant form because that is the second biggest throw of her career, having broken that Irish under-23 record with 71 just last month in Finland, and she heads into those European under-23 championships, followed by the World University Games in outstanding form.
Yeah, fantastic there, especially for the local interest. So we've seen a big crowd in here already when we arrived for that one. So as I said, kicked off about an hour and a half ago and has warmed up with a great local win, which is fantastic. So I think we have just our results from that women's 100 metres. We had Mabel Akande took the win in that one with the Mexican Cecilia Tamaya and Kira Neville, and we're going to pop down for a quick interview with our winner trackside.
Mabel, congratulations. That was quick. How would you assess your performance?
I think, it came out successful at the end. I think my start, I haven't had a chance to look through it again. I think my start maybe could have been better, but I think I definitely carried it on and tried to maintain, especially with the win, so I wasn't too steady throughout to the finish line. So yeah, I think it was a good race.
Your first time competing at the Cork City Sports. How would you describe the stadium here and the atmosphere?
I think the atmosphere is amazing. I think the vibes here is amazing. I think walking when I first came in, I was like, oh wow, I really like this. I think the way everybody's smiling, cheering everyone on, I think that just makes it like a key part. And then like the girls who I'm running with as well, they're also lovely and friendly. So it was, the atmosphere was amazing. Good stuff.
And what's next for you? I believe the Nationals are coming up and the European trials as well.
Yeah, we've got age group Nationals for the under 20 European trials. That's coming up, I think, in 2 weeks' time. So yeah, I'm hoping to secure my place to Finland there.
Well done tonight. We'll leave you go for your presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, great to hear from our 100-metre champion there, Mabel Akande, at 11:36, as I said, just slightly above the legal limit on win, 2.2, but as she said, delighted to be here in Cork and loving the vibes on trackside and with her competitors as well. As we just pop down to the long jump there at Cahill, you see Mackenzie on the runway there. This is the first bit of action we're seeing in this competition. There's been a couple of jumps so far the way off screen, but this is Stephen Mackenzie of Great Britain. Let's see what he gets on the flags. Gets a red flag on that one for his first attempt, but the early leader is Jakub Christianopoulos of Greece with 7:34 to kick that one off just above the legal limit as well, and Sam Healy, a local man, with 7:22 with the legal win, so he sits in second at present, but very, very early in that one. We can see race one of the men's 100 metres call, just getting ready there for their attempt at this 100 metres as well. So we'll have a race one and a race two. The faster PBs will be in race two, but I know those guys in race one will be looking to take their times down as well and to show that maybe they should have got a lane in that faster race. But we can see a full lineup of Irish men there anyway, taken to the start line. 6 men will go in it. Neola Maiwebe, he's a local Leeville man. Raekwon Luciano, Colin Doyle, another man from Cork, who is a former national champion over 200. He'll be looking to put down a marker here in this one before lining up in the double distance later on. Kanjika Onwera, another man who's always representing Ireland on relays. Luke Timlin, he's the national under 20 silver medalist from just last week. And Cody Ogbene, another man from Cork, You can just see Reese Adamola on the bottom of our screen here, about to take his first long jump. And here he goes, the giant local Leavelle man.
Yeah, he's been competing quite sparingly, Reese Adamola. I think he's only the one competition to win the national under-23 title just last weekend with a 7:20, but that was the only registered competition the year before this, so hopefully he's working his way back to health and fitness, and we'll see what he's managed there.
Got a red flag there in his first attempt though, so gives a good clap to the crowd. The stand is absolutely packed, and we're obviously have a good nice crowd dotted around the stadium. A lot of people hiding in the shade at the minute as the sun is beating down, and we're going to pop down trackside for an interview.
Well, Hannah, congratulations. That was pretty impressive. What's your own assessment of the race?
I'm really happy actually. I've never raced here in Cork before, so I had no idea what to expect before today, but you know what, it's amazing how much a crowd gives you. It's a little bit windy, which I like it when it's not windy, but I could hear, like everyone cheering around me, and I just had a great time.
Yeah, and it's great for the Cork City Sports as an event as well to stage their first ever 800-metres wheelchair race for women, isn't it?
We are so grateful to have a race integrated. It's something that we push for all the time. It's my first time racing in Ireland, and honestly, I don't get crowds like this even at home in Britain. So, it's amazing just to have that support, to have people out watching us, and to get the opportunity. So, thank you for having us.
You'll be back to us again, will you?
Absolutely, if you'll have me.
And just finally, Hannah, the World Championships coming up in September, so that's what you're gearing for now, obviously.
Yeah, working up to the World Championships now. Today was just a little run out. I don't get to compete against Shauna Bouquet very often, so great to come to her home country and race her on home soil and just have that experience. But yeah, all preparations towards the World Championships now. Always pressure going out there, but it's a big year and we just got to keep going.
Great to see you in Cork, Hannah, and enjoy your success. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, great to hear from Hannah Cockcroft there, who took that women's T54 800-metre win earlier on this evening, 157.19 for the result in that one. As she said, echoing our previous interviews of this fantastic crowd here in Cork, so she's definitely going to be one to come back if they'll have her, as she said, and I'm sure they'll be begging her back. She's heading for that World Championships later on this year, and we wish her all the best. Shauna Bouquet was second in that one, and Anissa Abdoulaye in third, Fabienne Andre in fourth. Four competitors.
Just the 9 Paralympic gold medals she has, Ger.
It's not too bad, but you'd like 10 all the same.
You'd like the evenness of the 10.
Yeah, 10 would be nice, maybe.
It's only 3 years to LA.
Exactly, so she'll be looking to put another couple of world medals to her name at the end of this summer in September. You see those 100 metres men getting ready to go, and in our long jump. Next man up, that is Jakub Christianopoulos. He's the early leader, as I said, 7:34 with a plus 2.1 wind. Let's see what kind of flag he gets down. He gets the white flag on that one. So there's only 3 clean jumps in that first round, but it's a long way to go. As I said, 5 more rounds for all those men. Wind is playing ball just between kind of 0.9 and 2.1. So favourable conditions for this long jump. They're just right underneath the stand here, so a real bird's eye view for all those paying fans.
And non-paying fans.
Certainly so.
How hard is that fence to jump? Couldn't be that hard.
0-0 for that one. Won't be hard for those long jumpers, or high jumpers in fact.
Certainly, Reese Adamola could probably step over it. But yeah, we've got a couple of 100-metre races coming up. I'm really looking forward to the second of them. Israel Olatunde, Irish record holder. I think we can still call him the fastest Irishman in history, although Bori Akinola did run the fastest all conditions 100 metres recently. It was wind assisted, and of course Bori is the indoor champion.
Yeah, Bori having a breakthrough season, winning that national indoor title, his first national gold, and then going on to European indoor semi-final. You just see Dino Subasic of Slovenia on the runway. He went up to 7:10 in his first attempt. What can he do here? He's looking to get into that lead with a jump longer than 7:34. Christianopoulos still in the lead. And And that looks good to me from the head-on view. Let's see what flag he gets once he leaves the pit. I think he's getting the white from the official David Murphy down track side. We have two very local interests in this one, Cahill, of course, as we said, with Rhys Adamola, but also Sam Healy, and their multiple national champion goes for the local Leavell club. So it'll be a hot battle for the placings, as well as you can see Sam there in the bottom left of your screen at the minute, as well as that local and national interest. There'll be a good rivalry going on that long jump runway. Quick fix to the shoes. Don't want laces leaving a mark in the sand before your body.
No, you said it
with hair in the past. You see the pole vault for men are warming up. We had a women's pole vault competition going earlier today as well. You can also get the live results of this meet on live.munsterathletics.com/CCS/menu, or if you want to go the easy way about it, go to trackathletes.ie and they'll have your links to all of that above. Some fantastic work done on that website. And here we have Sam on the runway. He goes clean into the pit. It is a red flag. He does have a 7:22 from that first round. And Dino Sulisic went out to 7:32 in that previous attempt. It was windy too, but it just puts him nicely into that second position. Again, our stream has been running a little bit longer than myself and Cahill jumped on, so you can flick back if you're on YouTube. You can watch some of the earlier races. And again, those results, if you go to, you probably found the link for the YouTube that way as well, trackathletes.ie, and you click on the results link and you'll find lots of info there for lots of competitions throughout the summer on that calendar, and much more information as well. Stephen McKenzie is there on the runway, but we have that men's first race of the 100 metres ready to go. We've got Mayo Ebe, Luciano, Colin Doyle, Ken Onwera in that luminous MSB vest in the middle, Luke Timlin of Crusaders, and Cody Ogbene on the outside. All starters orders on their marks. And we are cleanly away. I'm keeping an eye for the far starters. So Kem Onwera is going very well so far. Colin Doyle, can he do anything to get up with him? But looks like Kem putting a race up to him. But Colin Doyle is storming through in that grey vest. He's going to dip for the win. 10:55, and it is a legal win. So that'll be a nice season's best, I think, for Colin Doyle, or just outside it. So he has run a quick 200 metres on this very track a couple of weeks ago down here in Cork. And he'll be very happy with that one to take that win there. So just outside his equal PB from earlier this year, but another fantastic run from Colin, and gets the win, plus 1.1. The tailwind, he gives a little kind of glance to the side. He's would have liked a little bit faster, but it's important to get a nice win over lots of his national rivals here.
He looks like he's about to go to war with that singlet.
Yeah, it's camouflage.
Stylish.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't see him coming. But yeah, very impressive win there. 1.1 the win, 10:53, just outside the season's best and indeed personal best. But Colin Doyle in flying form on home turf. Or home tartan. Is this a tartan tractor, Mondo? I think it's tartan.
This is a tartan track indeed, yeah. Relayed, of course, just ready for last year. As we see Rhys Adamola back on that long jump runway. So what can he do this time around? He fell on the first attempt. He gets the crowd going, gets himself ramped up with that clap. And they are going for it. They're right on top of that action, as I said, in that stand. What can he do here on his second attempt on the long jump? He hits the pit. What sort of flag will he get? It is a red again, unfortunately, for Rhys Adamola. So attempt number 3. We'll see what he can come up with. See that men's shot put here, Cahill, as well, kicking off. Lots of 20+ metre throwers in this one. Of course, we've seen 2 Irishmen go over 20 metres in this very event very recently, with John Kelly and Eric Favors both in the same competition here in Cork, throwing over 20 metres. That was the first time Kelly ever did it. So it's we're looking at Victor Gardenkrans of Sweden getting his white flag there. And Alessandro Sceni of GB lines up. Again, another man with a foul in the first round, looking to get a mark on the board. race 2 of our men's 100 metres. Coming right up, as I said, called Ireland's fastest man. Israel Olatunde goes there in lane 3. He's got Joseph Ayoade of Australia in the lane beside him, and Kobe Hilton, the winner last year here. He goes in lane 4. Calablaw of Australia goes in 5. Ian Kerr in 6 of Bahamas. Ipai Tageda of Japan goes in 7. And Marcus Lawler goes in lane 8. So it's a really stacked race here. We've seen Kobe Hilton and Ian Kerr both contested here last year. Kerr took the win over 200 and Hilton over the 100. So it's going to be a battle on again to retain that title. And as I said, Ireland's fastest man over 100 metres. Marcus Lawler, one of Ireland's fastest ever men over both 100 and 200. He ran that 2040 PB here a number of years ago as well. But it's a really stacked race. Calablaw 4th at that Australian Championships earlier in April this year with that 10:17 PB. So he's going to be man to watch in the middle. Of course, lots of racing being done by a lot of these athletes already this year. The Japanese athlete has run 1,400 metre races already called this year. So this will be his 15th time out. So
the metric mile, Joe.
Absolutely.
They don't really like that in Japan. It's either sprint or marathon, nothing in between.
Or no marathon relay.
Or Ekidens, of course.
Yes,
but yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see Israel Olatunde here. I'm fascinated to see how he runs. He's obviously here, as we see, Irish Olympian Eric Favors launching that with the left-handed spin technique. Still in the first round here, the way currently being led by Sanko Ornadov of Portugal with 19:11. Donegal's John Kelly, 18:23 in second, but still very much early days. But yeah, Israel Olatunde made that move from Dan Kilgallen. You know, he'd endured some rocky years since Munich 2022 when he ran that Irish record at 10:17, but bounced back with a bang last summer, towards the end of last summer, with 10:12 national record in London. Made the move over to Lance Browman in Florida, training alongside Olympic champion Noah Lyles for the past year, and he's been working his way back to form this summer.
That was Christianopoulos there in the long jump again. He got the white flag, so we'll see what his result was in that one. But back over to the shot put here.
That's Victor Gardenkrantz.
He gets the white flag again. Again, those results will be live online, but we've got the 100 metre men getting into their blocks. We've got Ayoade, Olatunde, Hilton, Calablaw, Ian Kerr, Takeda and Marcus Lawler. And who's going to get this one? It said last year's winner Kobe Hilton goes 3rd from right, and he is away to a flyer, as is Calablaw, and the Japanese man Takeda is going very, very well. It's going to be Hilton get the win over Olatunde. 10:30 on the clock, 0.5 following wind. So a little bit down on season's best for most of these men, but a really, really great race there for Kobe Hilton. He retains his title here at the Morton Games. I thought he was just grabbing his hamstring here, but hopefully he's not. I'm just feeling something. But Kobe Hilton there, we see in that replay, three from the right with that Tracksmith kit on. Israel Olatunde in the red, powering down beside him, really putting it up to him and made him work very, very hard. Kobe Hilton gets that Cork City Sports win once again. Times 10:30 is on our infield clock. We'll wait for the rest of those to be updated. In that Super Value men's 100 metres.
A super men's 100 metres in the Super Value men's 100 metres. Well done to Kobe Hilton. Brilliant win.
Absolutely. Value for money from Kobe.
In second, but 10:30 on the clock. And be interested, hopefully we can maybe hear from Israel Olatunde. Be interested to see how he's been getting on stateside over the past year, but good to have him back on home turf, and I'm sure he'll be building up for those national championships. Now about 3 weeks away or so, Ger?
Yeah, absolutely, and I suppose he's got a bit of a point to prove. He's getting a nice photo there with Marcus Lawler. Both of those men part of the Irish 4x1 record-breaking team twice in the last 2 weeks. So they broke it first of all in Geneva, and then they went to the European Team Championships, and it was a late sub. Bori Akinola had to step out. Sean Agbobo steps in at the last second, and they break the record again. So there's no stopping them into the 38s as well, which is really, really strong running. I'm just a little bit worried. I can see Kobe Hilton walking off, just holding that hamstring a little bit. So hopefully that's one that can be shaken off in the next couple of weeks, as he has a busy summer ahead. He's silver medalist at the National USA Indoor Championships over 60 metres, and semi-finalist at the World Indoors. But you can see on the screen on the infield our results are up. So it's 10:30 for Hilton, Olatunde 10:36 in second, and Ipe Takeda in his 15th race of the year so far over 100 metres 10:42. is joint third with Ian Kerr at the same time. Sam Healy on the runway into the pit, and he gets a red flag there, unfortunately.
It's round 3. That's 2 out of 3 fouls for Sam Healy. 7:22 in the opening round as we...
2 out of 3 ain't bad, Cathal, as they say.
Yeah.
Not in the long jump, though.
No. But at least he's in the top 8, so he will get 3 more jumps. Women's 3,000 metre runners are on the back straight. Ready to roll.
We're going to hear from Kobe Hilton, our 100 metre winner. He is down trackside with Trevor.
Kobe, congratulations. You enjoy coming to Cork. You've won again here.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I love Ireland. It's my favorite place in the world. So I'm very thankful to be here.
Yeah, just talk us through your performance here tonight again. It was pretty quick, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it wasn't as fast as last year, but I didn't really have a drive phase. So I kind of just stood right up. But I just powered through the finish line and just wanted to win the race, really.
Yeah, and it's good to see the sun shining and big crowd here as well.
Yeah, I've been here for about 2 weeks now. I've never seen the sun so much in my life out here. So it's great. Great, yeah, just great weather out here. So
yeah,
very happy.
And that was a strong field there.
Yeah. Strong field. Respect all of them. So very happy to be able to surpass them and win. Yeah.
And you get ready now for Morton, is it, on Friday?
Yep, Morton on Friday. And then after that, I'll just wait until championships at the start of August. So, yeah.
Can we expect a quicker run from you on Friday?
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah, well done tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Well done, Kobe.
Thank you.
Yeah, good to hear from Kobe Hilton there. His favourite place in the world is Ireland, so that's always nice to hear. I know he has good connections to Kevin Cogley down there in Wexford as well. He looks after him when he's in Ireland, so it's a good testament to the young man.
Maybe he should come in January. See how much he likes it then.
December, November.
As you were talking about the weather.
Embrace the grey.
There's got the Christmas feel around that time of year. Anyway, the PJ Hegarty 3,000 metres for women is about to be on the start line, and here is part of the lineup. Cara Fian-Ryan of Australia, Eleanor Fulton of USA, Julia David-Smith of France, Roisin Flanagan of Ireland, Alexandra Millard of Britain, Eva Dieterich of Germany, Fiona Everard of Ireland, Megan Keith of Britain, Mia Cochran of USA, Laura Nagel of New Zealand, Holly Campbell of Australia. We're still going. 5 more. Niamh Allen of Ireland, the local athlete in the Lee Vale colours. There's the rest of them. Almi Nurarkar of Britain, Kimberly May of New Zealand, Taryn Rawlings of USA, and down the bottom, Ida McDowell is a late withdrawal. Yeah, Taryn Rawlings will be taking the pace, and this is a very much a wide open race. Hard to really pick out a favourite among them, but we would expect something below 9 minutes here, and we demand it, Ger.
Absolutely.
72 seconds a lap. How hard could it be? Much easier from our position, of course.
Easier to talk about than do, that's for sure.
But there is a lot of quality athletes in here. Just looking, Cara Fian-Ryan of Australia, 26-year-old. She is the Steeplechase World University Games champion in 2023, so she can enjoy that title for 2 more weeks, Ger? Next World Universities?
A number of World University Game medalists and champions here from down through the years, but as I said, that is coming right up in the Rhine-Ruhr region of Germany, starting on the 20th or 21st, whatever date that Monday is. Running for that week, the athletics kicking off right on the Monday, and we'll have a number of Irish athletes competing in that one, including Nicola Tuttle, who took the title here in the Hamilton earlier today, so she'll be a real medal contender there, as she will be at the European Under-23s, which precedes it, so it directly runs one into the other. It's going to be a busy few days for Nicola. It's going to be a nice block of training, I suppose, too. Get used to all those rounds and into her preparations for Tokyo, all going well later this summer. Quick update from the long jump as well for men, as those 3K women wait to go. We have a change in the lead. Stephen McKenzie has gone up to 7.66 in his second round, from Great Britain, and he goes into top spot. Alessandro Shaney has gone to 7.38. Both of those are legal windy jumps. And in third we now have our former leader Christianopoulos of Greece with that 7.34. Reece Adamola did get a legal jump across the board in his third attempt, 7.26 with a plus 1.6. And Dino Subasic, 7.32. 7.32 from Shaney just again now to back up his 7.38. So early leader, 3 rounds gone, halfway through the competition, and we have Stephen McKenzie sitting on top of the podium.
And an athlete to look out for here, I mentioned her in the intro, in the centre of that front lineup there in the black and amber of Lee Vale AC, Niamh Allen. Now, I wouldn't expect her to feature towards the front of this race. However, she is one of the best stories in Irish athletics and indeed international athletics, because what she has accomplished over the last year is nothing short of absolutely phenomenal. At the age, she wasn't really a runner too much in her youth. She drifted away from the sport through her 20s, came back to it in her late 20s, and she's now 30 years old, but she gave birth to her daughter Lily last autumn, and just 11 weeks later she raced to a silver medal at the National Cross Country Championships. It's her first Irish team. She went on to compete at the European Cross Country Championships. A couple of weeks later finished 10th in the senior race at the European Cross Country, and has been simply tearing it up really ever since. She's run 70-minute half marathon just last month in Cork, and also ran very well, top 20 finish at the European Road Championships over 10 kilometres back in April. So this will be on the salty side for her, 3 kilometres dropping down on the track, but she has a personal best of 9:26, which dates back to her time in Australia just a few years ago, which is where she kind of got back into running there. She is just moving up on the outside, but she's a lovely woman and just a phenomenal athlete. And if there is an athlete out there who can break the Irish marathon record held by Katrina McKiernan, of course, Sinead Diver down in Australia has run quicker than that record, but that time does stand as the Australian record. But if there is an athlete, I think, with the potential to do that, I think it might be Niamh Allen, who is just progressing at a rate of knots.
So to heap the pressure on her, that's the main thing.
Exactly. We love to do
That's what she needs. You just see it clip from the high jump here. Can't quite make out who that is, but we have 6 women clear of 175 so far, so that I think might be Hannah Lake taking her third attempt at 175, the Welsh athlete. She does not go clear, unfortunately, so if I'm correct, that will be the end of her competition. She does in fact shake hands with the officials, so that will be Hannah Lake finishing up with a 170 result. Unfortunately, Summerlecki went out at her opening height. And we've got Fatoumata Bale of Guinea taking her third attempt at her opening height of 175 very shortly as well.
So it's still very much early days in this women's 3,000 metres. They are now passing 800 metres in about 2:18, so obviously 69 seconds a lap. It's something in and around the, trying to do the sums here, Ger, 3 seconds times 7.5. Yeah, around the 8:40-ish mark, give or take, a minute.
Fatoumata Bale does in fact go easily clear there at that 175. You spotted that down the corner of your screen, so she will move on to the next height, which I presume will be 178 or 180, depending on what the athletes have agreed on.
That's Eleanor Fulton there, just slotted into second place, just ahead of Megan Keith of Great Britain, and then number 16 back in fourth as we see them. That's Kimberly May. These are 3 very class athletes. Eleanor Fulton currently running in second place of USA behind the pacemaker. She's 32 years old now. She ran her personal best of 8:44 a few years ago in Italy. She finished 4th in Cork last year at 8:47. That's a time she'll be attacking again, I'm sure, here tonight. The Essex athlete well on track at the moment as they approach the first 1,200 metres. But sitting behind her is an athlete who's been making rapid progress in recent years and really a child prodigy, Megan Keith. She's 23 years old now, but she has such pedigree, especially in cross country, but she's been tearing it up on the track as well in recent years. Last year, Megan Keith won the European bronze medal over 10,000 metres. She was the European under-23 champion over 5,000 metres the year before, and she has a serious pedigree at cross country as well. I remember in Dublin, it was 4 years ago now almost, back in 2021, she won the under-20 race there by an absolute street, and then she showed up for the under-23 race 2 years later in Brussels in a mud bath that it was over there, and Megan Keith absolutely sliced through the mud and won by a record-winning margin. Last year, she was in fantastic form on the track as well, setting British under 23 records over 5,000 metres and 10,000 metres, 14:43 and 30:36. That really, really is world-class running, and she's only getting better. Megan Keith there, back in third place at the moment, but essentially in second because that pacemaker, Taryn Rawlings, will be stepping aside not too long after halfway, and then back in fourth at the moment. It is an accomplished athlete from New Zealand, Kimberly May, second at the NCAA Championships over 1,500 metres last year, third in the NCAA Championships in the indoor mile as well last year. A little bit down on those places this year, but is an athlete to be reckoned with as we approach the closing kilometre of this race.
Let's call just a quick update from the men's shot put, which is going on in the infield as well. There's a really high competition, kicking out high class competition underway there. There's just 2 rounds gone. We've got the top 3 are into the 19 metres, and actually just have a change of leader, just as I said, that Nick Palmer of New Zealand just going out to 19:91 to take that lead, so pushing the 20 metre mark. Tsanko Arnadoff of Portugal sits in second, 19:53, and Ireland's Eric Fabers 19:44 in third at the moment.
Yeah, the pressure is being kept on up front here by the pacemaker, and Megan Keith looks the most keen to get on with things. They're approaching 5 laps here, so this will be 2 kilometres, and I think they're going to be under 5:45 or so. It's going to be pretty close to that, but Megan Keith now takes over from the pacemaker. The pacemaker very much still in there, but Megan Keith says, this is not quick enough for me. Megan Keith has not been racing too much yet this year. She ran a 15:16 for 5,000 metres as they pass 2 kilometres there. But they're still on for something in the 8:40s here. And now Megan Keith has started to open up a bit of daylight between herself and Eleanor Fulton. And also Kimberly May is stuck to Eleanor Fulton as well. They're back in second. Just a little bit of a gap opening there to Alexandra Millard of Great Britain as well, and then another gap back to Cara Fian Ryan of Australia.
Yeah, we just saw Fedra Fekete of Hungary go clear in the high jump there as well, Carl, over 180. She is last year's champion here at the Cork City Sports. That NNOS women's high jump is hotting up there on the infield while this race goes on, and as you say, Megan Keith said to the pacemaker, see you later, and the rest of the field in a similar fashion. They've struggled. She's got a 30 metre lead now over the field as she comes around by that hammer cage, and 6:40 on the clock, so it's starting to heat up here, Cathal.
It certainly is. The battle for second is going to be very close. There's 3 athletes clustered together there. They are Eleanor Fulton, Alexandra Millard and Kimberly May, I believe, but Megan Keith looks to be away and gone really with just over 600 metres remaining. Megan Keith is on a roll. This is very much on the short side for Megan Keith. She has a personal best at this distance of 8:52. She is well on track to obliterate that. But she is an athlete with a serious aerobic engine, Megan Keith. At the age of just 23, as I mentioned, she's run faster than any other British female in history at 5,000 metres and 10,000 metres. I've no doubt that at some point in her life, the Inverness Harrier will go on to run absolutely exceptional times in the half marathon and indeed the marathon one day. But just look at that economy of effort as she hits the bell, 7:29 on the clock. Now, if she can get something in and around a 70-second lap, she's well on track there to break 8:40 here. And Megan Keith is going to absolutely obliterate her personal best of 8:52, probably by 12, 13, maybe even 14 or 15 seconds. Close in the battle for second at the moment. It looks like Eleanor Fulton is just winning that battle at the moment, pulling out just a few metres over Kimberly May and indeed Alexandra Millard, but it's pretty close. And then there's a big gap back to the rest of the field. There first 4 are definitely, I think, going to be well under 9 minutes. But Megan Keith with 200 metres remaining, you can see the fatigue on her face there. She is starting to hurt, but the clock is very much in her favour. She is going to obliterate her personal best by a long way. She came in with a best of 8:52. That is gone forever. Megan Keith as well has put about 40 metres into the rest of the field. Eleanor Fulton is currently leading the charge in second, but it is a futile chase at the moment because the 23-year-old Scot is into the home straight. She is hurting in a big way, but at the finish line she will be rewarded with a big personal best. The great Scot Megan Keith up to the line, 8:38 on the clock, 8:38.38. It's a personal best by 14 seconds by Megan Keith. Eleanor Fulton comes through for second, and it is the Providence College athlete from New Zealand, Kimberly May, gets third.
Yeah, brilliant dominant performance there once you decided the pacemaker had done enough for her about 50 metres earlier than the pacemaker was due to step off, and took off and just opened up that lead. like every metre she took down the track. So she said a big gap straight away and just stormed off from there. So huge run from Megan Keith, huge PB as I say, and still on the short side for her specialty, but brilliant running there. You see her storming down into the home straight. 8:38.37 is on her infield clock for the Scottish athlete, and a big win. And obviously, Cathal, that just shows that conditions are very, very good here in Cork this evening.
They certainly are, yeah. I mean, there was a good bit of wind earlier, and even just looking at those flags on the back straight, it does seem to be a bit of a headwind they're running into down the back straight, but hopefully that'll calm down, especially for the mile later on.
Just another shot put throw there and a big celebration. We get a quick glimpse of it. It looks like the New Zealander who was in the lead, Nick Palmer. There's Aoife O'Sullivan in the high jump. Just a failure there at 180, and I can tell you there was big news from the sand pit, Cathal. Rhys Adamola during that, with about 2 laps to go in that 3K, he leapt out, white flag, to 7 meters 80, so his longest jump in about a year and a half. So indoors last year he had a fantastic season, going out to 793 and backing that up numerous times, but his last jump approaching that at all was this time last year, 771 at this very Cork City Sports, but now he goes into that lead with 7 meters 80, so that's been long overdue for Rhys, the local man, as I said, plus 1.1 on the wind gauge there. So like I said, that wind is just kind of up and down between 0.9 to kind of 2.2, 2.1. So that will be on the back straight for those distance athletes. Back to the high jump, you can see the Guinean athlete getting ready to take her attempt at 180. We have a few athletes clear that already. In particular, our Ukrainian, who is probably the strong favourite for that women's high jump. She's competed at the European Indoor Championships this year.
And just to confirm, it was 8:38 there for Megan Keith, and Eleanor Fulton got second, and the result has just disappeared from the screen that I was about to read it out from in the infield. But back to the high jump, Fatimata Bali goes clear. Made no contact with that bar.
Absolutely, it's good jumping from the Guinean.
But it's still very early days in that women's high jump. Next event up on track then will be the Athletics Ireland 100 metre hurdles for women.
Eric Favours is in the shot put circle again. He's out to 19:44 so far in that one. What can he do here? He's got to be out towards his best to take the win here for sure. Liam Shaw there gives him a clap. He gets a white flag from the officials. Let's see what result pops up for him. Cathal has just escaped to try and get a quick chat with Ireland's fastest man, Israel Olatunde. We see the hurdles are right on track for that women's 100 metre hurdles coming up very, very soon. Unfortunately, no Sarah Lavin here this year to retain her title, but we'll see her back in action very, very soon. If not before, then the National Championships on the 2nd of August. She'll be contesting that one. She's been part of the Irish 100 metre relay team recently as well. You can see the full lineup there. We've got Orla Mannion, the Irish under 20 champion from just last weekend. Next to her is the under 23 champion from last weekend, Arabella Adekoya, Selina von Jakowski of Switzerland, Abigail Paulett of Great Britain, Daniel Shaw, the Australian, Marley Jessup of Great Britain, and Molly Scott right out there in lane 7. Of course, we saw her not so long ago in the 100 metres, former Irish 60 metre record holder indoors. So she'll be right up there to the first hurdle for sure. She is a rocket out of the blocks, and she's getting back into really, really good form over the hurdles as well as the 100 metres. So they will be next up on track. See the officials just putting up the third hurdles there, so they would have been down for their practice runs, so they'll be ready to kick off very, very soon. Back to our high jump competition here. As I said, we do have 6 women attempting this 180. Just a small knock there. That was for our number 8. Loaded up, Annie Stapleton from Australia. So a clean card all the way through from 165 through to 180. That was their second failure at that. We have Sam Healy back on the runway in the men's long jump.
And just to take a moment there to run down the women's 3000 metre results. Megan Keith 8:37 for the victory. Eleanor Fulton got second, 8:42. Kimberly May back in third with 8:45, and just behind her Alexandra Millard of Great Britain 8:45, and a huge breakthrough run yet again by Niamh Allen back in 5th, 8:51.08. That moves her to 8th on the Irish all-time list at a distance that is very much below her comfort zone. But once again, we flagged up her massive talent. Is rising all the time. Her caliber, Nia Valen. What a run that is. Just a personal best by about 30 seconds or so.
Sam Healy to get a white flag on that jump on the runway there. Flip it on the results page to see what it was.
And I just grabbed a very quick chat there with Israel Olatunde off camera, and very pleased with his run, and is absolutely loving life stateside over with Lance Brown over in Florida and also, and is very excited for the next rest of the season. He'll also be in action, of course, at the Morton Games in just 2 nights' time.
Absolutely quick turnaround. And we can see our current leader on the runway in this long jump, Reese Adamola.
Yeah, it is fantastic to see Reese Adamola back to something very close to his best. I was out in Colombia 3 years ago when he finished 4th at the World Under-20 Championships. He had a medal in the bag for so long, just fell out of his grasp in the final round, but he is such a talent, and he's a lovely chap to boot as well. But do you think if Ireland is to have an athlete really contending in the long jump at a global level, he is the man with the talent to go on and do that. Easier said than done, of course, but Reese Adamola, he could be just the second man in history.
Yeah, our 100-metre hurdlers are just going into the blocks there, Cathal. So, as always, the middle lanes will be really the ones to watch in particular. Wojciechowski, Abigail Paulett, the heptathlete from Great Britain, but indoor 60-metre hurdles champion as well. Runner PB in Gotsis this year, when going over 6,300 points in that hurdles event at it. Danielle Shaw, the Australian, 12.90 windy this year, and we are away. Jessup will be out quick there as well, the young British athlete, but it is right in the middle of the field. Paulett there going very, very well. Jessup to her right, and the Australia, but in lane 3, in fact, Wojciechowski is doing a really, really good race. It's going to be tight to the line, and just off the last hurdle, it is Paulett who sneaks it. I think Wojciechowski had the lead there most of the way in that race. He might be fuming with that one, but the strength of the heptathlete comes right through. I call her a heptathlete. She's a very, very world-class athlete in her right over the hurdles distances, and a sub 13 second runner. And just see the replay there, and as I said, Jessup there second from the left, as well as Molly Scott out to an absolute flyer, going very, very well. Wojciechowski there in the grey with the sleeves in the lead just at the moment here. 2 hurdles to go, they start to level up, and Paulett just with that strength off the last hurdle keeps a composure, gets the win, and 13.09. The wind is plus 2.8, so won't count for any PB purposes, but a brilliant run there from Abby Paulett. Celine Wojciechowski in second, and Danielle Shaw, the Australian, in third. 13.16 and 13.45 for Wojciechowski and Shaw. So again, that wind is just gusting a little bit here. You can see on the long jump results in particular that they're going up and down, but there is the full result of that Athletics Ireland 100-metre hurdles for women. Abigail Paulett, a brilliant run there, 13.09, just off the last hurdle, some underground to make up to go 700ths clear of Selina Wojciechowski of Switzerland with 13.16, and Danielle Shaw holding off Molly Scott. A great run from Molly Scott there, 13.55. Would be a PB if it wasn't for the wind, so back towards her best. I say if you can do it with the wind, you can do it without, so she'll be a contender at the National Championships in a couple of weeks' time as well. Marley Jessup in 5th, Orla Mannion in 6th, and Arabella Adekoya in 7th. Liam Shaw is in the shot put circle, the young man from Galway. Still adjusting to the senior weights and making progress in PBs. Nice shot at the sand, kicking up there in the sunshine. Hurdles being cleared away, and we look at the schedule for the rest of the evening calls. So that 100-metre hurdles just finished. Up next, we're back for the distance events on track. That 3,000 metres, John Buckley Sports, is going to be an absolute cracker. We've got nothing but talent in that one, as we do in every event here, but it's going to be real a hot and fast one with local interest like Nick Griggs in that one. We'll have the 800-metre women, the 800 men, the 200 metres, so sprinters will be back, 3 200-metre races similar to the 100s. We'll have 2 men's and 1 women's. That mile will close out the day, Cathal.
Yeah, there's so much quality across the races, and we're all counting down, of course. Well, us middle distance nerds are counting down to that mile at 9 p.m, which should be a great race, but I'm very intrigued to see how Nick Griggs goes into 3,000 metres. which is taking place at 7:55 p.m. So quite soon. He may well attack that Irish under-23 record of 7:36.
Just a run through in the long jump there from Christianopoulos, her former leader. He now sits in 5th place. And Rhys Adamola did extend his lead there in that previous 5th round jump, 7:82. So backs up that 7:80 at 1.9. So 2 legal 7:80 plus jumps from Rhys Adamola. Is fantastic jumping as he pushes back towards that 8 metre mark, which has eluded him just so far, but still a very, very young athlete, and he'll be only progressing as the years go on if he can keep himself in one piece. In the women's high jump, that's Aoife O'Sullivan, her final attempt at 180, so she goes out on that one. But it's Shaney in the long jump. We've seen this man here last year as well, so he's obviously delighted to be back in Cork. Just a quick update on that high jump. So Emily Whelan has gone out at 180 as well. We still have Annie Stapleton has gone out, Aoife O'Sullivan, and Emily Borthwick has to take her final attempt. So Fatima Dubali, Fedor Fekete, last year's champion, and Yulia Chumachenko are the only athletes to clear so far. In the long jump, Alessandro Shaney, does he get a white flag? He does. David Murphy is reaching for it at least, and here's Borthwick in her last attempt at 180. No good on this occasion, unfortunately, so 175 performance for her. Getting back into a bit of form as well. Form at 195, made a jumper at her best, but long summer to go.
As you can see, the men's 3,000 metre runners are just out on the track at the moment. And there is so much quality, and number one is really number one in terms of achievements as well. Stuart McSwain of Australia has run this distance in 7:28. That's just very fast altogether, Ger. Outrageously fast. He was 7th in the Olympic final back in Tokyo, and we'll talk about his achievements a little bit more, but we'll run through some of this lineup. Jason Clayton of Australia, he's a 7:57 man. Jackson Sharp, we're skipping him, a 7:44 man. The Australian who runs for Wisconsin over in the US. Charlie Wheeler of Great Britain is a 7:47 man at his best. George Wheeler, 7:54 his best. Nick Griggs, of course, the Irish. He'll need no introduction to the Irish fans watching. 7:36. He's the fastest Irishman ever at under 20 level over 1,500 metres, the mile, the 3K and the 5K. At under 23 level, he's the fastest Irishman ever over 1,500 metres, 3,000 metres and 5,000 metres. His times 3:35, 7:36, 13:13. He is all class and he's getting back to form. After him then, from the Netherlands, Jort Benz. He is a 7:55 man at his best, and at the bottom of the first half of the lineup, Henry McLucky, who was here last year, 5th in the mile at the Cork City Sports, and he has a best of 7:41 for this distance. The 23-year-old, he was a European under-20 bronze medalist back in 2021. I'll barrel on through the lineup anyway. The graphics can catch up with me, Ger. Next up, it's Callum Morgan from Ireland, the training partner of Nick Griggs up the north. He's a best of 7:59 for this distance, and I'm sure he'll be looking to break that this evening. From South Africa, Maxime Chomathon. He has a best of 7:44. From Belgium, the man who set the Belgian indoor record in a mile last year at 3:52.66, Thomas Van Uppen. He has a best for the 3,000 metres of 7:41. Next up, from Ireland, Oisin Gallen, who has a best of 7:52.14. Valentin Soka of Uruguay has a best of 7:34. That was the South American indoor record, which he ran at Boston University, that magic track over there. He ran that earlier on this year, just in March. And then Michal Power completes the lineup. He has a best of 7:52.8 for this distance. So lots of talent in there, Irish and international. But I would fully expect Mr. Nick Griggs to be coming down the back straight on that final lap, contending for victory with these men around him. He did, of course, have difficulties earlier on this year. He had a nasty knee infection and spawned out of the European cross country, and he had a horrible run throughout the earlier part of the year with that, but managed to get back and really did impress on his comeback with a 3:55 mile in horrible conditions up in Belfast. And And he's since gone on to run a 13:26 5,000 metres over in France towards the end of June. And here he is doing the 3,000 metres just ahead of the European Under-23 Championships next week, where he will be competing over 5,000 metres. And normally you'd say Nick Griggs should go on, maybe win gold given his times, given his ability, but there's a certain man called Niels Laros also entered for that 5,000 metres at the European Under-23, so might be a little tricky to beat a man like Laros who just ran just a 3:45 mileage.
Yeah, he's in good form, isn't he?
Solid.
Solid form. A lot of men with wheels in this one, Cathal, especially the two wheelers, Charlie and George. But
that's exactly why they pay you the ginormous bucks they do, Ger.
Absolutely. But Nick Griggs is the Irish Under-23 800 metre champion as of last weekend as well, dropping down to test the wheels a little bit and tune up that speed. He did that with very little fuss as well. I think it was 1:52 in the end to take the win on that one, but just cruised the first lap and then let it rip. And here is our leader. Looks like from a technical point of view, call over rotation there from Rhys Adamola.
I think my expert long jump eye can even spot that one, Ger. Yeah, he just over rotated, gives a clap to the crowd and they applaud him back. Great to have seen a 780 jump.
That was his final attempt there, so if he finishes that competition healthy, that's going to be a huge day out for him. 782 and 780, both legal jumps, so a very successful return to form for Rhys Adamola.
We're off and running in the men's 3,000 metres, and they passed 200 metres in about 29 seconds. That's world record pace. But Stuart McSwain, the favourite, has slotted into second. McSwain, he's had a bit of an iffy year by his very lofty standards. You know, he hasn't been setting the world alight, I suppose, but he did run a 13:16 5,000 metres at the Oslo Diamond League just last month. And of course, we know all about his class, his credentials. And he is currently slotted in behind the pacemaker. And Stewie McSwain is an athlete who is never afraid to push things along. He is always towards the front of his races, and as they pass 400 metres in about 59 seconds, it is a very healthy tempo being laid down. And I'm delighted to say the flags at the top of the back straight have kind of dropped considerably, so they won't be running into as much wind as the women might have about a half an hour ago. But Stewie McSwain in pole position there behind the pacemaker. Nick Griggs, the young Irishman, slots into fourth position, and I'm sure he'll be delighted that the height of Stewie McSwain is creating a lovely little slipstream there for him.
Yeah, great pace being set here. As you can see, the men are strung out through the field. Valentin Soka there is sitting in second position by right behind the pacemaker, who obviously leads it out with Stuart McSwain sitting on his shoulder. And it's always a telltale sign when we're single file right this early in the race, and these men are clipping along nicely already. Nick Griggs sitting there fourth in the purple, third in the race, and we're going to watch the clock tick over and see what these men can run. As I said, wind is dying down a little bit, still a bit blustery on the back straight. They'll have a headwind as they come around there. We'll get a little bit of help of it on the home straight. There are some giant trees you can see at the top of your picture there, which may just reduce that tailwind a little bit, so which may see some of the sprint results not quite reflecting how fast the men are actually, or the effort they're actually putting in, but come into this home straight once again, and we are clipping along very, very nicely.
Yeah, Nick Griggs really has the two men he would have marked down on paper in front of him at the moment, McSwain and Soka. As I mentioned, Soka, South American indoor record at Boston University earlier on this year of 7:34.10. It is, of course, an indoor track that a lot of people would probably run just as fast, if not faster, than on an outdoor track, but he is a serious operator. He also ran South American indoor record over 5,000 metres of 13:14. The Uruguayan there just sitting in third. He is also getting a beautiful slipstream in behind the tall Stewie McSwain, who is still slotting in second behind the pacemaker as they pass 1,200 metres now in about 3:03. So those 61-second laps being kept up, 7:37 pace. And a reminder that Nick Griggs' Irish under-23 record is the time he set in London last year, 7:36.59, and he very much has it in his sights as they approach halfway.
Nice for Stewie to have a nice tall pacemaker with him as well, Cathal. He gets slotting right in behind him. He's getting no effect of that wind. He's making full use of our pacemaker, who's doing a great job here out front. But it is McSwain, just has a little bit of a 2-3 metre gap on Soka. He might need to close that just in case McSwain decides to make a move once the pacemaker steps off quite soon. Griggs is just sitting nicely on the shoulder of Soka, and they are trying to close on McSwain, and a little bit of a gap opening back up to fourth, but it's as is in positions for now.
Yeah, number 12 there in the blue, by the way, back in 5th. That is Thomas Van Oppen. And of course, we talked about his Belgian indoor mile record, 3:52. He has a best for 3,000 metres of 7:41, but he's been in good form at the longer distances as well. 13:17 recently, a 5,000 metre personal best in Zagreb back in May. So we'd expect him to stay strong, and he might be utilising that mile speed to very good effect over the closing laps. And just behind him then, number 3 from Australia, that is Jackson Sharp, who has a best of 7:44. He was 10th in the NCAA 5,000 metre championships last year, the University of Wisconsin student. He ran his personal best in Cork, as they're now approaching 3 laps to go, and indeed it is McSwain who is now left with the unenviable task of pushing this along. 4:35 on the clock, and the tall Australian who loves to front run, loves to get things moving. If you beat Stuart McSwain, you're always going to have to bleed to do it, and he is pushing this pace along. Soka in the slipstream, Griggs stalking him, and then back in 4th at the moment it is Van Oppen, just ahead of Sharp.
Yeah, Soka just closed that gap a little bit there. I was just going to say to you, as they passed us here at the start finish line, there was that little bit of a gap, and Griggs was being smart and sitting right on Soka's shoulder to use him for that wind slipstream, but Soka has now closed up behind McSwain. If he's clever, he'll just use him there for as long as he can, be a de facto pacemaker for him, and get all the work done. But Griggs looks very, very comfortable there, and there's just a bit of a change happening behind him as well, Colin, who's coming up onto his shoulder.
Yeah, I think that is Jackson Sharp. They're starting to move up around the outside, if I'm not mistaken, but we'll get a better look at them here as they come up past us. But it is McSwain at the moment, and McSwain really has a decision to make at the moment. Does he want to keep pushing this along, or does he want to settle in? And Soka now, and I think McSwain just backs off there for a minute, and it is actually Henry McLucky, who is an accomplished miler. He is moving up now into contention. He ran very well in the mile here last year, and they have slowed considerably. You can see it in the pack there with just over 2 laps to run. It was about 5:07 at 2K, so the pace backed off, and it's going to gather again here for the final 700 metres. But it is Soka now of Uruguay pushing things along. McLucky moves up into 2nd. McSwain, is he just doing a bit of shadow boxing here? Will he come again, or is he actually in distress with 600 metres to run? The Australian Soka has the lead, but it is slowing down considerably. Look how they are bunching. And it is Jackson Sharp there as well, moving up into contention, and the Belgian is in there as well. This is going to be teed up beautifully for a brilliant last 500 metres, but it is at the moment, I think
that's McLucky out front. Yeah, he's got Griggs on his shoulder, so it is winding up nicely. And in the speed suit then is Sharp, and he is looking sharp, and he's sitting on Nick Griggs for the moment, but it is bunching behind him. There's all sorts of move on the go here. The Uruguayan Soka is making another move at the bell, but Henry McLucky out front. 400 metres to go. What's going to happen?
Yeah, Soka is coming back into it. Charlie Wheeler is in there as well for Britain, number 4, the tall man back in 4th at the moment, but it is Soka. Valentin Soka has the lead at the moment, and he has gone for broke. It looks like Henry McLucky is trying his best to hang with him, the Briton. Nick Griggs looks a bit bankrupt now, back in 3rd. Perhaps those months of mistraining might just be catching up with him in terms of a race of this calibre, because Soka, the 7:34 man, and here goes McLucky, the 7:44 man, but he has got some wicked mile strength, and he is putting that to brilliant use around this final bend. It looks like McLucky has this race at his mercy. Can Soka rise again in the home straight? He may well come back. It looks like Soka at the moment, Valentin Soka of Uruguay, cannot mount a challenge. It looks like it is going to be Henry McLucky pulling away the Briton. Henry McLucky pulls clear up the home straight. Soka in 2nd, 7:36 on the clock. Back in 3rd, I think that was Jackson Sharp, and then it was the Belgian coming through there as well, Thomas Van Oppen. But a brilliant burn up there, Ger, over the last 500 metres.
Yeah, 7:36.81 on the clock. I think Nick Griggs might have just been outside the 7:40 in 5th place, but a nice little deliberate cruise through the line when he just about had enough to spare over Soka, who was closing like a train even in the last 30 metres. But a brilliant win for McLucky, and took it in style. He's on hands on knees now. He's not as comfortable now as he was going across that finish line, but he made it look good for the photographers at least. A brilliant run. Is that it? Do you say he was a 7:44 man, Cahill? That's a huge 8-second PB, or
sorry,
thereabouts.
7:41.97.
It's only
I was
5
confusing
seconds.
him with another athlete.
It's
Jackson
a
Sharp.
5-second PB there.
Still, you'll take it.
See him coming down the home straight here. He's grimacing. He's looking up. See, is there a screen that he can watch his position on? He takes a good look around at Soka, and just about gives the old Liam Sheedy finger wag across the line, and takes the win here at the Cork City Sports.
Yeah, the John Buckley Sports men's 3,000 metres. John Buckley Sports, of course, such a renowned running shop in Cork. Been there many times, and confirmation coming through. Henry McLucky, 7:36. It's a huge personal best by over 5 seconds. Valentin Soka in second, 7:37.10. And then I think it was our Belgian athlete, Thomas Van Oppen, back in third.
McLucky is
looking
down the water and getting the adoration of his fans there on the sidelines.
Yeah, it was Jackson Sharp, in fact, in third, but 7:38.23, and then Van Oppen in fourth, also 7:38.
And we do have Megan Keith interview that we can cut to now, Call, to see what our women's 3,000 metre champion thought of her race.
Well, Sonia, all good things come to an end. Your long-standing meet record broken by this lady next to you tonight. It was a really good performance.
Really great performance tonight. You know, it's a lovely evening here tonight. It's warm, it's a little bit windy, but not as windy as Scotland, Megan tells me, so she took advantage of the good conditions and managed to break my record by a small little amount, half a second I think.
Yeah.
But you know, it only took 23 years and Megan is just 23, so she wasn't even born when I was running around at the Cork City Sports, so it's great to be able to hand it over and to be here to witness absolutely great performance tonight. So well done, Megan.
Yeah, and just a word on the tennis tonight. So I was up in last year, which is very encouraging, isn't it? The sun is out, and you know, there's a fabulous atmosphere here.
That's great. I think, you know, when you get a good evening in Cork, the people come out, and you know, that's really makes a big difference when we get the people here. We get the stand full, we get people all around the edge of the stadium, and I can remember that, you know, from my days running here and back in the Mardyke as well.
Yeah.
You know, we had the crowds on their feet, and you know, I think Cork people love their sport and they love their athletics as well, so I'm really appreciative that they come out here tonight and support the Cork City Sports once more.
Brilliant stuff. Megan, you must be really proud to win tonight, to break the meet record, and to get it against the legendary Sonia O'Sullivan as well.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy with that performance. As I knew the meet record was 8:38 something, and I wasn't necessarily aiming for the record. I just wanted to run a fast time, and I didn't realise it was Sonia's record. But as you say, it's really special to get it. But she was just telling me she's broken world records before, so she won't lose too much sleep over this one. But yeah, I had to take advantage of the great conditions and the great atmosphere to come and see how fast I could run tonight.
And tactically, did it go just the way you wanted it? Was it spot on for you?
The pacer did a brilliant job. She was in for almost 5 laps, which was more than you can ask for. Out of a pacemaker, and then I wasn't really running, or I wasn't trying to run tactically. I just wanted to empty my own tank tonight, so I took it on from just 4.2k and just tried to run as hard as I could, and I managed to run away from the field. But just really happy to get a good hard run out tonight.
You enjoyed running here, obviously, good atmosphere.
Loved it. Yeah, Ireland's been very good to me. I think I was here a few years ago for European cross country, and yeah, I love running in front of Irish crowds, and they put on a great show for us, so we try and do the same for them.
And just finally, what's next for you now? What's next on the horizon?
So I'm running London Diamond League a week on Saturday, so this was a good hard kind of run out to shake a bit of rust off. It's been a few months for me or more than a few months since I've run that fast, so hopefully this is time in a good stead to get a good time on the board next week.
Well done. You might enjoy a cup of tea together, except in Sonia.
Oh, I'd love that. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much. So Sonia,
and we are back on track for the Cork County Council women's 800 metres. Looks like we have 8 athletes going to the line. In lane 1, Pia Langton of Ireland. Lane 2, Grace Fans Agnew. As we just see that confirmation of the result in the men's 3,000 metres. Brilliant win and big personal best by Britain's Henry McLucky ahead of Valentin Soka, 7:37. Jackson Sharp back in third. Nick Riggs just faded slightly, but that is not far away at all from his Irish under-23 record of 7:36. Good run from him ahead of next week's European under-23s.
Flags on the back straight. The 200 metre mark have dropped. They're just picking up a little bit, but it does seem to be just gusting here and there. So hopefully you get good conditions for this one, Cathal. Let's see the start list. Pia Langton, as you said, goes in lane 1. Grace Van Agnew, Great Britain, in 2. Maeve O'Neill in 3. Another Irish lady, Hayley Kitching, goes in lane 4. The Australian Gemma Finch of Great Britain goes in 5. Lucy Holmes in 6 for Ireland, running lots of PBs recently as well. Hannah Seagrave of Great Britain goes in 7, and we've got Karen Murphy out in lane 8 as our pacemaker.
Yeah, big favourite here is Hannah Seagrave in lane 7 in that black strip. She is a 1:59 athlete, the 30-year-old who runs for Atlanta Track Club Elite, a Middlesbrough native, and she ran that personal best of 1:59 last year. Just looking through some of their personal best. Pia Langton on the inside is a 2:07 athlete. Grace Van Zagnew in lane 2 is a 2:01 athlete. Maeve O'Neill in 3, 2:03 is her best. Hayley Kitching of Australia is a 2:01 athlete in 4. In lane 5, Gemma Finch of Great Britain, her best is 2:02. Lucy Holmes has a best of 2:05. And then on the outside there will be Cara Murphy of Ireland cutting out the pace over the opening 500 metres or so. But expect to see that athlete in lane 7, Hannah Seagrave of Great Britain, taking pole position behind her because she would certainly be the favourite here. Seagrave has a season's best of 2:01.09.
Cleanly away there. First time of asking from the starter, as I said, Cara Murphy there on the outside. Irish 400 metre and 400 metre hurdler is going to set it up nicely for them, and as you said, possibly the pre-race favourite goes with her.
Yeah, it's Grace Van Zagnew as well, just coming up strongly there on the inside, but I would expect it'll be between Van Zagnew and indeed Seagrave to take that primary spot behind Cara Murphy, pacemaker, but it looks like they don't have too much interest at the moment in taking this on as they pass 200 metres there. The pack in about 30 seconds, pacemaker probably in about 29, and if they want to really have realistic ambitions of getting close to 2 minutes, you really do have to be getting to the bell at about 58, certainly no slower than 59. And I'm sure Hannah Seagrave will be looking for something in the very low 2 minutes, having already run 2:01 this year. At the moment, Cara Murphy is cutting out the pace, and coming up there on the outside, that is Hannah Seagrave, just ahead of Grace Van Zagnew as they hit the bell in 59.45. So it's set up very well by Murphy.
Yeah, she just needs to step off the track now. Just as a concrete curb on the inside here, so she was risking breaking an ankle if she stepped off too early. But as you said, out front there, Seagrave is going for it, and Van Zagnew is going with her. There's a gap back to the rest of the pack of the field of 5-6 metres, but out front, as you said, Seagrave is storming on the back straight into that little bit of a wind. The flags are dying down a bit. She might have a little bit less work to do than previous, but Van Zagnew is on her shoulder, using her as a pacemaker. They're going through in about 1:31 through 600 metres, so 1:50 to go, Cathal. It looks like it's between these two women out front, Seagrave and Van Zagnew.
Yeah, Seagrave has controlled it and she has pushed this along, but there was a headwind up that back straight, and Van Zagnew now has had a bit of a free ride over the last 300 metres. Hannah Seagrave's been doing more work, but can she bring it home? She is the quicker athlete on personal best, on season's best. Will she be stronger now over the last 50? Van Zagnew tries to find something, but she can't get there. It is Hannah Seagrave of Great Britain with a flying finish down the outside for third. That is Maeve O'Neill of Ireland. 2:03 was her best. She may well have broken that, but it is 2:02.30 on the clock. And your winner, it was the favourite, obliging, from Atlanta Track Club Elite, Hannah Seagrave of Great Britain.
Yeah, brilliant run, just dominated from the front. Once the pacemaker stepped off, Cara Murphy, Van Zagnew gave her a great run right away to 750 metres, and then Seagrave just pulls away to a clear win. Maeve O'Neill with a strong finish there, passing a lot of athletes on the home straight to get that third spot and possibly rewarded with a PB. It's 2:02.30 for Hannah Seagrave to take that win from Grace Van Zagnew, 2:02.99, and Maeve O'Neill 2:03.17 in third place.
Yeah, that's a personal best for Maeve O'Neill. So great stuff from her.
Yeah, an Irish interest, Lucy Holmes, was 2:04.73 in fifth, so that would be a PB for her, I think, as well, breaking that 2:05 barrier. So possibly a little bit windier than they would have liked out there, Cathal, on the back straight in particular. Maybe not even getting the benefit of it on the home straight. And it's see on screen, Hannah Seagrave took that one dominantly from the front. 2:02.30 from Grace Van Zagnew and Maeve O'Neill. Gemma Finch fourth, Lucy Holmes in fifth, Hayley Kitching and Pia Langton, the junior athlete, 2:06.00.
Yeah, great race, great head-to-head, and then really from the clouds along came Maeve O'Neill with that flying finish, but another excellent bit of middle distance running as we see Fatoumata Bali attempting there but refusing.
said, all the results of those field events in particular that we haven't been able to keep quite too much up to speed with are on live.munsterathletics.com/ccs/menu. Men's 800 metres next up on track. Oisin Lynch, Sigurd Sveit, David Cardenas, Cathal Doyle, Cian McPhillips, Dan Watke, Louis O'Loughlin and Thomas Randolph in this one. It's an absolutely stacked field once again.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent in here.
Cathal Doyle, the mile winner 2 years ago at this meet.
And just completing the lineup there, Andrew Thompson, he's a 146 man at his best. And then some late changes, I think, to the lineup. Henry Jonas, Jamie Phillips, both of Great Britain. Jonas is a 144 athlete and Thomas Randolph is also a 144 athlete at his best. So it'll be very interesting to see how they go. Season's best though, Randolph has only run 149 this year, whereas Jonas ran his 144 this year. So you'd have to imagine that Henry Jonas, bib number 9, will feature very strongly to the fore here. But Cian McPhillips in the red as well. It'll be very interesting to see how he goes. He's had a late start to the outdoor season, but he's been going very well.
Yeah, Stapleton there. I ruled her out earlier by mistake in the high jump. She did go clear at 180 and also went clear on her third attempt at 185. So she's at 188 now for her second attempt. So she's a lot of jumping done, but is still right in there in the competition. And it is between her and Fatima Dabali at the minute to take the Cork City Sports NMMOS high jump women's title. Yulia Chumachenko going out after her 180 clearance. I'm not sure if she's going to be allowed to jump here, Stapleton, or they're waiting for the 800, but I think the official is going to let her take her second attempt at 188. The Australians getting the clap going from the crowd. Fans have realised we're at the very pointy end of that high jump competition now and made their way down there. She's going to be running into that wind as well, but the bar is staying on for now, which is always a good sign. And here we go, second attempt, 188 for Annie Stapleton. Ooh, and it's just taken off on that attempt as well. So one more go for her. Fatima Dabali still has 2 more attempts. She will be in a joint lead at the minute. Both had 2 failures at the previous height of 185, so it's winner takes all here on this height. And a quick look at the pole vault. It's Michael Kent with a failure. And just a quick roundup on the men's long jump call. We were ranting and raving about how great Rhys Adamola was, but in the final round he ended up going from first to third. Fantastic jump, first of all, from Stephen McKenzie of Great Britain, going out to 789 to put himself top of the podium. But Alessandro Sceni made a brave effort for it, went up from 754 in round 5 to 788 in his final attempt, just finishing in second by 1 centimetre from Stephen McKenzie, and it was that 782 in the 5th round from Rhys Adamola to take the 3rd spot. I see Conor Callanan on the pole vault runway here. He's represented Ireland, his first senior cap at the European Team Championships last weekend, and jumped a PB over there at 4 metres 90. So brilliant performance from him, and he goes well clear there at 475. So he is in the form of his life, jumping out of his skin. Local man as well, based up in Dublin now for college, but is jumping better than ever. You just see a replay of Fatima Dabali. Her second attempt, 188, is a failure as well. So it's down to a sudden death shootout for the final attempt from those 2 high jumpers.
Yeah, back on track. Men's 800 metres upcoming. Definitely be looking out here for Henry Jonas of Great Britain. He's only 20 years old, but as I mentioned, 144 makes him the favourite. Centre your shot there, that's Sigurd Sveit of Norway in the white and navy. 25-year-old, he's run 146 at his best. Cian McPhillips in the red there in the centre your shot. As I mentioned, a 23-year-old. Coming back to form in this outdoor season, he was impressive at the European Team Championships, probably left it just a little bit late to really put in that surge, but he came flying down the outside to get 3rd place, I think it was there, but he ran 145.33, Cian McPhillips at that magic track in Boston University earlier this year and really had horrible luck in timing at the European Indoor Championships in Apeldoorn. Fell in his heat, got advanced to the semi-final, but unfortunately his knee had locked up overnight and he didn't really have any sort of fighting chance. But Cian McPhillips, the European under-20 1500 metre champion back in 2021, is an athlete of outstanding quality, and one of these years he is really going to get it right at senior level and do something big. He's improving all the time. Thomas Randolph will certainly be one to watch as well, the 26-year-old, although he hasn't been flying really yet this summer. He has the calibre certainly to contend here. 144.88 at his best. That dates back 2 years. Look out too for Louis O'Loughlin of Ireland. He's a student at Adams State in Alamosa. He goes in lane 6 alongside Thomas Randolph. He's the right of the two athletes in white you see there in your shot. And that is Henry Jonas there in lane 7. He'll be going on the inside of lane 7 alongside alongside Andrew Thompson.
It's a busy field, Cathal. It's going to be action-packed for places there at the break. So hopefully Pacemaker gets out and sets it up nicely. But it's in fact, we don't have a pacemaker, do we?
I think we do. Yeah. It's Hamish Donoghue who's going to be pacing there from the outside. But yeah, 12 athletes, it's a lot for an 800 metres, but hopefully they'll be well strung out by the pacemaker. And I just see Cian McPhillips there slotting in towards the back of the field. He doesn't look like he's going to be in a big rush around this field, and sometimes he does like to do this, likes to come from behind. So we'll see. He tried to do it at the European Team Championships. It kind of half backfired on him. He looked like he had enough to win that race but didn't. But they're now charging towards 200 metres, and it looks like Henry Jonas, the favourite I would say for this race, is slotting in behind the pacemaker in second.
Yeah, McPhillips going for the Dave Waddle approach there through 200 metres in dead last, but is already starting to make his way up. He's realised already, okay, may need to get the skates on a little bit. As he said last week at the European Team Champs, it was too little too late, but that was his first race back since that indoor season, so perhaps a little bit of a confidence booster from that one. He ended up in lane 4 at the finish line. Hopefully he'll be in lane 1 today, he says. But we come through the bell. Pacemaker has brought us through in 51.80, and it is in second place.
Yeah, that's Henry Jonas just there in second. It is Jamie Phillips back in third, and then I think it is Andrew Thompson there in fourth. So it is Jonas, Phillips and Thompson in position behind the pacemaker at the moment. Back in fourth now with the pacemaker stepping aside. That is Norway's Sigurd Veit. Cian McPhillips has a lot of work to do, and he's in the worst position imaginable with 200 metres to run. He has to circle this entire field if he's going to contend, but he is starting to eat up places. But it is the favourite, Henry Jonas of Great Britain, the 20-year-old, has struck for home with 200 to run, and he has put daylight between him and the others. He's the only man in this field who's run 144 this year, and he is really flying here into the home straight. It's going to be a blanket finish, I think, for second, but there's no doubt about the winner. It's going to be Henry Jonas powering towards the line. Here comes Cian McPhillips with a huge run, but it's unfortunately just a bit too late. Henry Jonas takes victory. McPhillips again finishes like a jet plane down the outside, but it's runner-up finish for the Longford man on this occasion, 145.25, and the youngster from Great Britain seals victory.
Yeah, brilliant run there. As I said, McPhillips, he ended up in lane 3 this time around, so next race out, if he can get into lane 2, he can maybe move up another placing too. So second in lane 3 we see coming up the home straight, Henry Jonas well clear, and a huge sprint finish on behind him. Cathal Doyle there in the middle in the Nike vest as well of Ireland. I think he's held on for third place, possibly in a PB, but Cian McPhillips too little too late there again. Probably lost it all in the first 200 when he ended up in last place through that mark. But a brilliant run out front, no doubt in the winner. He just took it from the pacemaker and ran it home for the win. 145.25 on the clock. You can see the full stand here. That is just the long jump runway underneath them. So they were put on a great show in that men's long jump from local men. 3 men over 7.82, and Fatoumata Bali taking her last attempt at 188 here to try and take the win in this women's high jump. And it is a failure at the third attempt there again. Gets the red flag from the officials and then claps to the crowd. So that will be the end of her competition. Herself and Annie Stapleton were both attempting that 188 height to take the win. So it will be a joint first if Stapleton hasn't taken her attempt yet. Just goes over to congratulate or thank the officials on a great job. And the Guinean athlete will be at worst second and possibly joint first. Michael Kent, the young Wexford athlete, trying to amp up the crowd here in the men's pole vault. And he's down the runway. And it's no good at this attempt at 4.75, so that'll be the end of Michael Kent's competition. That is his third attempt at that height. Very accomplished long jumper he is as well. And he'll be pushing towards youth and junior competitions later this summer. So we see our women's 200 metre athletes lining up. So one women's 200 metre race followed by two men's. That's going to be another one with huge local interest, Cathal, with in particular Phil Healy in lane 4. Just setting her blouse, just turning her back on us there in the all black, fixing her hair. You see her there. So she is former national record holder over 100 metres, sub 23 over 200 metres, and of course an Olympian over 200, 400, mixed 4x4, women's 4x4. She has done it all, a true legend of Irish athletics. And sprinting, Keely O'Connor there in lane 2, Knowledge Omovo, Patience Knowledge Omovo in lane 3. Phil Healy is in lane 4. Cecilia Tamayo Garza, that second place in the 100 metres earlier today, the Mexican record holder. 22 second mid to low runner at her best. Rachel McCann, 40 metre specialist, part of the Irish relay teams for the World Relay Championships this year in particular. Got a great run out in the women's event. Lauren O'Leary, another local athlete of Leeville, goes in lane 7, and Fatima Almuzan, also of Leeville, silver medal in the under 20 100 metres last year here, goes in lane 8. So it'll be hotly contested from those middle lanes again. Phil Healy, can she get back into that 22 second shape or 23 second low? She was 5th in this race here last year. We always see fast times there in Cork. The flags are blowing the right direction. I think for this 200 metres they might have a little bit of a headwind on the bend, but the sun is shining, the track is warm, it's been well warmed up with some fast 100 metres already today. So these ladies will be ready to go any day the sun is shining. In Ireland it's a good day to run fast, so hopefully we will see some fast runs here. Patience Knowledge on Wera in lane 3 is a 23.6 athlete at her best. Cecilia Tamayo, she's been based over in University of Houston in the past. There's Carl Lewis and Leroy Burrell, specialising in sprints over there. Two coaches with Olympic gold medals and world records to their names. She'll be hoping to upset the local favourite Phil Healy here, who goes in lane 4, that 22.99, her best. And has gone quicker, windy, some fantastic battles with Rashida Aleke over the 200 metres at Nationals. Set the Irish 100 metre national record a couple of years ago of 11.28, since been beaten by Sarah Lavin and indeed Rashida Aleke since then as well. And Rachel McCann, as I said, that 400 metre specialist. She will be hoping to possibly upset a few of the shorter sprinters here. She was bronze at the Irish indoor 400 metres, just behind Healy. So she'll be looking to take her 200 PB well down from 24.69. Hands on hips all around in the sunshine as they await their starters' orders. So one women's 200 metres followed by two races for the men, as we've seen similar with the 100 metres earlier. A domestic race up first, followed by the fastest men on track. So Phil Healy, of course, was out in China, Guangzhou, for those World Relay Championships earlier this year as well, competing for the women's team and the mixed team, both qualifying their places for the World Championships in Tokyo later this summer. But it's all to play for all those athletes to make sure they're on the plane throughout this summer, running fast times, and indeed the National Championships on the 2nd and 3rd of August. But there's a couple of weeks after that secured their spots too. We just get the thumbs up from Eric Favors. He got 3rd place in that shot put out to 3rd place out to 1981, so getting back towards his season's best. I think possibly a season's best outdoor for him. And also it's a good strong throw with bonus points on offer here as a European Athletics bronze label meet. So in terms of boosting up his rankings towards qualification for the Tokyo World Championships. It'll do the Irish record holder no harm whatsoever. Packed out stands here, Cathal. Just everybody waiting this 200 metres to kick off. The 800 metre men are getting their medals on the podium at the moment.
Yeah, it's great to see so many youngsters showing up and packing those stands. And many of them are waiting here by the finish in front of us and getting autographs and pictures with everyone. As we see the women's 200 metres. Just waiting to being called to the line here.
Yes, just waiting for the 800 men are getting their glory on the podium before the starter is allowed to give his orders to these women for this women's 200 metres. Sponsored by Bridgewater Construction. There are 800 men. As I said, it's always a unique treat to get a medal at an international meet like this, Cathal, so it's a bit of crack if nothing else.
It is. Well, I think athletes always talk about when they visit Ireland for either the Morton Games or the Cork City Sports, what a brilliant welcome it is as we see confirmation. I'm sure Henry Jonas will be keen to come back after that run, 1:45.25, and it was a brave run as well, because as soon as the pacemaker stepped aside, he stepped up. He was like, I am the alpha male of this pack, and he proved it, taking that race on, pushing it down the back straight and holding on to the finish. Cian McPhillips, it was another impressive run, but he will have to look back at that and ask himself, did I leave myself too much to do? Why was I back in 7th? With 200 to go, it is the way he often runs, but it looks to me like he's costing himself some victories just by having to navigate that level of traffic and run the entire last bend in lane 2. Cost you a metre or two, and in the end it was only a couple of metres between him and Henry Jonas, but brilliant to see Cian McPhillips back fully healthy and going so well again.
Yeah, we are into our blocks for this women's 200 metres. Keely O'Connor, Patience Knowledge Onwero, Phil Healy, Cecilia Tamayo, Rachel McCann, Lauren O'Leary and Fatima Amuzan. So those middle lanes as always are going to be the ones to watch. So Tamayo, Healy, Amovo in 3. Can she get out well and put it up to them? And we are cleanly away, and Amovo is left a little bit by Phil Healy, and Tamayo, the Mexican, is absolutely flying there in the middle lane, leaves Rachel McCann for dust for now, but McCann will be strong at 400 metre speed, comes around the bend. It is Tamayo in the lead. Phil Healy, can she get up to her? It's going to be a really, really fast closing finish here, and Amovo is starting to move as well. What can she do on the home stretch? She's a former 400 metre national champion, but it is going to be the Mexican Tamayo takes the win from Nigeria's Patience Amovo and Phil Healy. We've got a man standing in front of the clock, but it is 23:39, shows up with a plus 2.3, in fact corrected to 37. So the wind won't allow those times to count for PBs, but a brilliant run there from the pre-race favourite, 22:45 at her best, Mexican record holder. A little bit down on that today, but just rounding into form for a long season. And it was Patience Knowledge Amovo 23:78, Phil Healy 24:05. Rachel McCann much faster than she's ever run before, 24:11, but the wind won't allow that to count for PB purposes. But there is our winner, Cecilia Tamayo Garza. She was second in the 100 metres earlier today and is back on top of the podium with that brilliant 200 metre run from the gun. She took the lead and never let it up. A strong finish from Amovo of Nigeria, but couldn't quite get there in the end, and a nice strong run from Phil Healy once again, rounding into good form for this summer's action.
Yeah, good to see Phil Healy running well there, but certainly Tamayo Garza just simply too good for that field.
And as I mentioned with the winds earlier, Cathal, I'd imagine they had quite a strong headwind on the bend there, and then possibly didn't get much benefit of the tail down the home straight with the large trees behind the 100 metre mark, so they've been given an illegal wind, but I don't think they would have got as much of a benefit of it with the times on the clock. So it's about racing here tonight at Cork, and up next we've got our 2 men's 200 metre races. So we've a mostly Irish field in this first one, apart from Joseph Ayowade, who competed that 100 metres earlier today as well. But all others, Adam Jamili is in our B race now. He was due to be in the A race, but possibly requested a better lane in the first race out here. He was due to be in lane 1 in the second race, so he goes in lane 5. Of course, he is a man with bags and bags of medals, former European champion now. It was 11 years ago at this stage when he won that 200 metre title in Zurich 2014. Has gold, silvers and bronzes from 4x1s at world championship level in the 4x1 relays for Great Britain. And he will be up against it with the likes of Colin Doyle there, 10.5 earlier in the 100 metres first race. We've got Irish indoor silver medalist Adam Murphy and bronze medalist in Luke Timlin at senior level in lanes 6 and 2 respectively. Emmanuel Akinroley took the under 23 title just last weekend here in Ireland. He goes out in lane 8. So it's going to be a spicy one. It's going to be a really hard fought battle for positions here. Aside from the times on the clock, it's going to be sprinters all ego, who can get the placings and the wins, most importantly. You see Jamili there with that sprint start on his t-shirt. He just strides off and away around the bend. And it's great for the younger athletes in this field to be lining up beside a former European champion, Cathal. That's when you get meets like this on home soil for the Irish athletes. You get to line up against the very, very best and show them what you're made of.
Yeah, it is brilliant, and brilliant for so many youngsters up in the stands to see athletes of that calibre racing some of Ireland's best, the faces they know so well, as we see confirmation of that women's Bridgewater Construction 200 metres. Cecilia Tamayo Garza, 23.37 for the win. Knowledge Omavo, 23.78, and Phil Healy back in third, 24.05. Of course, her teammate in Paris, Rachel McGann, 24.11 there, back in fourth. And next up, it's the turn of the fellas, and the wind is still blowing pretty strong. About 25 minutes now out from the concluding race, the men's mile. I'm sure they'll be warming up, looking up at those flags, going much like Roger Bannister back in 1954, going, please fall silent, give me a chance just for 4 minutes.
Yeah, as I said, it's a mostly Irish affair in this one, apart from Joseph Ayoade of Great Britain and Adam Jamili, his countryman. Sorry, Ayoade of Australia and Great Britain's Jamili. But for those 6 Irishmen, they'll all know what sort of shape the other guys are in all season, so it'll be a good one to gauge where you're at if the clock doesn't quite give you what time you're looking for. See Conor Callanan chatting to his coach on the sidelines, getting his feedback, probably pushing towards a PB in that pole vault at this stage. Darren Murphy just bouncing on his toes there in the UCD singlet, getting ready for starters orders in this men's 200 metres. In terms of PBs in this one, of course, Jamili PB is away and clear, but on season's best, not quite there. Colin Doyle, 2090, is the only other man who's gone sub 21 in this field, but after that it's all to play for. There's a lot of 21.0, 21.2s, 21.4s and 6s, so it's going to be a hotly contested one. You just see Luke Timlin taking a fast start around the bend there. He's not expecting the starter to call him to his marks anytime soon. Adam Murphy of Tinryland there, just tucking in his vest, getting himself aerodynamic and ready to go. As I said, Irish indoor silver medalist this season, behind Marcus Lawler. His first senior medal after 17 indoor and outdoor national finals over 200 metres. So that was certainly a monkey to get off the back, and he can focus on running fast this year, which he has been doing. Jamili rocking his sponsored Nike kit from a couple of years back, a throwback. So I think all our field event action has wrapped up here at the Cork City Sports. You can see 5 metres is on the, oh, there is Conor Callan in fact. So 5 metres is on the board, so this will be a PB for him. He has already won the competition, but this will be breaking new ground for the young Cork man. So he's gone over 4:92 already, which is a personal best here today, as he did last weekend at the European Team Championship. So a man in the form of his life, and what an achievement it would be to get over 5 metres here on his home turf in Cork. The Leave LAC athlete in college up in Dublin now in DCU, but is going higher and higher every week, and this is the time to do it. Said that first senior international cap last weekend. So here we go. He takes a couple of steps back, gets that grip on the pole. Conor Callan, can he get over 5 metres? He cannot, unfortunately. It is a run through on this attempt. So he will return and go again. And we're into the blocks for race 1 of the men's 200 metres. We've got Owen Kenny from the inside, Luke Timlin, Joseph Ayowade, Colin Doyle, Adam Jamili, Adam Murphy, Dara Murphy, and Emmanuel Akinrole. So let's keep an eye on those middle lanes as always. On seedings, the fastest man in the middle, and Jamili is out to a very, very fast start up on Murphy, Adam Murphy already, Darren Murphy out to that, trying to stick with him, and inside him Colin Doyle going very, very well. He took that first race at 100 metres earlier on today. As we come around the bend, how is it going to look? It is Jamili into the lead as we come around, and Joseph Ayowade is going very, very well indeed. Adam Murphy's trying to come back at them, and Colin Doyle running very strongly. He's coming up through the middle. Can he get Jamili? But he can't. It's 21:29 for Joseph Ayowade there. A legal win, 0.7 from Adam Jamili. I think Colin Doyle just had to settle for 3rd place in that one, just back off the former European champion, as I said, Adam Jamili. But a brilliant run there from lane 3, Joseph Ayowade. As he came around the bend, Jamili had that strong lead, and Colin Doyle is a very, very fast starter. As I said, he's a fast man over 100 metres earlier today, but Ayowade there in lane 3, the Australian, with a brilliant performance to take the win. He's 7th place at those Australian Championships over 100 metres earlier this year. But he takes it down here today from Adam Jamili, from Colin Doyle, and Adam Murphy takes 4th spot for bragging rights among the other Irish.
Great race. Great race. Jamili had it, but that last 40 metres, you could just see his mechanics just start to falter. He was handed the fridge of fatigue to carry down that last home straight. And to surrender victory on the evening as we see the presentation taking place for the women's 200 metres.
Yeah, Cecilia Tamayo, top of the podium. She had that gold medal to the silver she took in the 100 metres earlier. It's all about medals here today, Cathal. That's all that matters.
It's a championships in itself, Ger.
Absolutely. And we'll go in 2nd, and Phil Healy in 3rd.
Public service announcement to occasional members of the media who say that someone wins a gold in the Diamond League. There are no medals in the Diamond League.
This is the only time they'd be correct in that.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just
Phil
all
Healy wins bronze.
They're all such huge Cork City sports fans. It just kind of sticks in their head from this time of year onwards.
Cork City Sports always stays in my head.
71st
edition of this famed and fabled meeting. And it's great to see it ongoing. And certainly got an ageing organising committee, but they keep showing up every year. They keep annoying or politely requesting money from the sponsors for each race to get this whole show on the road, and it is brilliant because the effect of this will go on for many months and years to come with all these young athletes who are getting to witness these athletes and the buzz created. And then you have the likes of Nicola Tuttle and Phil Healy being able to compete in front of their own county's crowd.
Yeah, there is our official result from that men's CETV 200 metre race 1. Joseph Ayowade 21:27 from Adam Jamili 21:37. Colin Doyle in 3rd 21:40. So we'll see what their times are like in the 2nd race. I'd imagine our top 3 should come from the 2nd race, but you never know when the conditions can change. Wind wise and everything else. We're going to have Dannon Long in lane 1 there one of the 2 Irish men in this race 2. Demarius Smith in lane 2 from USA. Czech Republic's Andrej Masic in lane 3. I'm just going to cross to Conor Callanan, who's taken another attempt at 5 metres in the pole vault. Will be a real breakthrough for the young Cork man. And it's a better attempt this time, but he still doesn't get up to as high as the bar. Not a run through at least, so he will have one more attempt at that in a couple of minutes' time. He'll go back, regroup, and give it one more lash. Andrej Masic, as I said, there in lane 3 from Czech Republic. Marcus Lawler goes in lane 4. He set his PB on this very track a couple of years ago, and his man in very, very good form. He was part of the Irish record-breaking 4x1 relay team last week and a couple of weeks before that in Geneva, so he is running really, really well. Caleb Law, the young Australian, goes in lane 5. Ian Kerr in lane 6. He is the reigning champion here from the Cork City Sports. We've seen him here numerous times over both the 100 and 200, but he did take the win here last year with a windy 20.3. So what can he do this time around? Joe Ferguson goes out in lane 8. He opted out of the 200 metres or the 100 metres earlier today. So I'm just trying to have a look and see, make sure he is in that lane 8. But Ferguson was a relay member for that inaugural historic mixed 4x1 relay at the World Relay Championships this year. Great Britain team got a bronze medal at that. So he is a 20.2 man at his very, very best, and his PB indoors a 20.9 this indoor season just gone by as well. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes here. You just see Marcus Lawler in lane 4 there, getting himself ready, getting his kit off to the basket carriers and ready to go. Multiple time national champion, a 20.7 indoors over 200 metres this year, so a huge indoor personal best. He'll be looking to rock out some fast times and get himself right up the top placings here today as well, to get himself some nice bonus points and ranking points towards a spot in Tokyo in that 200 metres. Caleb Law, of course, and Ian Kerr were in that Paris 200 metres. So very accomplished athletes in a row. I think Kerr's last race before heading to Paris last year was indeed the Cork City Sports, so that set him up nicely for that one last year. We don't have Kobe Hilton in this one, unfortunately. After that 100 metre win earlier, he was just holding his hamstring a little bit gingerly, so hopefully nothing too serious for him and just precautionary. But the clap is rolling around the stadium here. You can see Matthew Callan and Keenan there in the background getting it going, one of Conor's competitors. It is 5 metres. He's already set a PB. We're into new territory here for Conor Callanan. What can he do in this final attempt? Let's get over the bar. Let's set that 5 metre PB, break into new ground. And here he goes. And unfortunately not on this attempt again for Conor Callanan, but a brilliant performance from him. A win in his hometown, home track, a personal best. That's about as good as it gets. And he's building. PB last week, PB this week. We move on to national championships in a couple of weeks' time, and many more besides that. Keep pushing that bar even higher.
Yeah, we've had some great action in the field, on the track, in the sprints, and in the middle distances. And we're awaiting this final 200 metre race.
It was in fact a joint win for the high jumpers of Fatimata Bali and Annie Stapleton. We just saw their presentation. They're having good fun with their medals in there on the infield as well already. So as I said, it is a nice touch and something different for an international meet. But it was a joint gold, as they say, here down in Cork for them. As I said, if you want to recap on any of the action, you can scroll back through the YouTube feed, the Cork City Sports YouTube, if you're not on that already. And also you can pop onto trackathletes.ie to get all your track information, but also to get the quickest way to the live results link. Otherwise, type in live.munsterathletics.com/ccs/menu. So all your field events, action, your jumps, your throws will be live there for you.
Yeah, highly recommend checking out trackathletes.ie. It's a fantastic resource put on to follow Irish athletes competing, not just on domestic turf, but all around the world. And all the links to live results and updates, and of course the live streams. more complicated than ever to follow the sport.
Absolutely.
We make it nice and easy. We're here on YouTube and Flow Track and Cork City Sports, YouTube, European Athletics.
If you're hearing us, you're here, and we're here for you.
And we'll always will be.
That's our slogan.
As long as they keep paying us. If they stop paying us, we're gone.
So Caleb Law, you can see there the Australian. He's in the form of his life. He was 4th at the Australian Championships 10:17 in the 100 metres. Of course, an Olympian over 200 metres last year in Paris. What can he do here from lane 5? He's got Ian Kerr outside him. Lane 7 is in fact empty, I think, there at the minute, which would have been Kobe Hilton, and they're called to the mark. So Kobe Hilton is not going to his blocks, but the rest of the men are, and Ian Kerr there just bouncing up and down. Can he keep that title in his name from last year? He's going to have his work cut out from here. He's 20.31 man at his best. Joe Ferguson has gone quicker than that, but not this year. So it is all to play for 7 men taken to the line. Dannon Long, Demarius Smith, Andre Masick, Marcus Lawler, Caleb Law, Ian Kerr and Joe Ferguson. And we are cleanly away. At first time of asking from the starter, Law is out very, very well. Ferguson's a little bit isolated on the outside there, so he's going to have to run blind until these men come around the bend. Law seems to be going very, very well in that Nike vest in the middle of the field. Marcus Lawler going very well, and right on the inside there in lane 2, Demarius Smith is really putting it up to him. Smith is coming through at the minute. Can he hold on from Law? And he can. Ian Kerr comes through for second, but a brilliant run there in lane 2 from Demarius Smith. He is a 20.04 man at his best, so he might be a little bit upset with that lane draw, but 20.43 is on the clock, plus 3.2 is the wind. I can tell you it's not quite blowing as strong as that. I don't know where the wind reading is coming from, but they wouldn't have got the benefit of a 3.2 for sure. But we can see on the replay here, Demarius Smith there on the inside. Lane 2, a very tight lane draw, but he came through like an absolute train. From the first 100 metres he was in the lead and held on nicely. Ian Kerr with a very strong finish. As I said, last year's winner here at Cork City Sports, but he did keep the lead over Caleb Law, who was ran into 3rd place. But a brilliant run for Demarius Smith there, very impressive from lane 2. He's hands on knees here just after the finish, and it would have been hard work from that tight lane, but a great run, takes the wind, and he will top the podium from Ian Kerr and Caleb Law. You see the results of that 100 metres from earlier today. We did have Ian Kerr and Caleb Law, of course, and Joseph Oyewade and Marcus Lawler, all 4 of those lads lining up again here with the 200 metres. But Kobe Hilton took the win in that one, 10:30 from Israel Olatunde and Ian Kerr. And there is our 200 metre result. You can see Kerr was back again, but it was 2nd place he had to settle for this time around from Demarius Smith. That brilliant run from lane 2 to take the win from Caleb Law. Marcus Lawler 20.73, so a good performance from him as well there. If we look at the season's best of the other guys compared to his, I think that will be a nice step forward, even if it is too strong of a wind to count. But as I said, I don't think that wind was a true reflection of the help they got from it, from the conditions. Joe Ferguson 20.74, good performance as well. Andre Masick and Dannon Long from lane 1 21.42. Just walking out onto the track are the milers. Sprints action wrapped up for the night. 7 sprints events, and
early bath for you, Jerry. You've been working overtime here.
Absolutely, worn out. Must have clocked up at least 1 to 2 minutes of race total talking.
Yeah, with just 1 race left here.
And what a race it's going to be, Cathal.
Yeah, it's set to be a cracker. I can't wait for this. The magic of the mile will be unfolding once again at the Cork City Sports, and I'm glad to say that 71 years after the wind dropped for Roger Bannister at Iffley Road in Oxford, it has dropped once again. The flags are pretty much limp on the back straight, and the temperatures are just about perfect in the high teens. It's cool, but it's not cold. It's nice and mild, and it's really ideal to obliterate the 4-minute barrier. And there are many men in this mile field who have run below 4 minutes, including Matthew Ramsden of Australia, well known as Rambo. 3:51 is his personal best, dates back to 2020. He hasn't been in that form this year, but he will certainly be in contention here. The likes of Ruben Reina in there as well from the US. He's a 3:53 indoor miler. Santiago Catrofe of Uruguay is dropping down in distance, but he set the South American 5,000 meter record at the Paris Diamond League, 12:59. So that man will have a whole lot of strength. And looking further down the list, the likes of Irishmen there on your screen, the likes of Sean Donoghue is a 3:55 miler, Philip Marin's a 4-minute miler, Cathal O'Reilly 3:59, Louis Mallon is the 4:01 miler. He'll be targeting the sub-4 here. And then right at the bottom, the second quickest man in the race on personal best is Ronan McMahon-Staggs. He will be a big factor here, the 22-year-old. He was born and raised in the US, but of Irish heritage, and he switched his allegiance to represent Ireland in January 2023. McMahon-Staggs, the Californian, will be hoping for a win in Cork. 3:51 he ran at his best, but he has a season's best over 1,500 metres of 3:38.2. He was 6th this year at the NCAA Indoor Championships. So look out for McMahon-Staggs to perhaps announce himself to the Irish crowd. And another man we'll certainly be keeping an eye on is Marco Langen of Villanova. He finished 3rd at the NCAA Championships over 5,000 metres and has run 3:33 or 1,500 metres. But now I'm glad to say that Trevor has the local hero, Phil Healy, who competed in the 1 and the 200 metres tonight.
Well, I'm with Phil Healy. Phil, I know you love running the Cork City Sports, but you always get tough competition. And that was again tonight.
Absolutely, it's superb here to have it at such a big international meet. Not only in Ireland, but obviously back here from me in home soil in Cork. It's a credit to the Cork City Sports Committee as ever for having such quality fields across every single distance and field event to bring the best out of our Irish athletes and to have such a support. Like, we never have these crowds at Irish meets, so it's absolutely wonderful to see. The weather is absolutely superb. Obviously the heat, the conditions were very windy, but no, it's great to come out. For me, it was definitely a big rust buster. I haven't raced since China, which was nearly about 2 months ago, if not more. So yeah, it's always great to come out here, see so many kids, see so many families, and then take that on to the rest of the season.
The track run well? Do you like the track?
Yeah, CIT as well. Well, MTU now, is always superb to race in. Like, it's unbelievable facilities. Like, when I'm back in Cork, it's where I train. In the gym, then behind me, like a fabulous facility in MTU Arena. So yeah, everything is on my doorstep when I'm here back in Cork. So yeah, it's so wonderful to see a great meet here. And then there's so many athletes here today that will take it on to Morton Games on Friday and race in Dublin as well.
Yeah, in preparation for you now for the Nationals in 3 weeks?
Yeah, so Nationals is about 3.5 weeks, and that's in Dublin again. So it's all about getting out there racing again. Obviously, we have a stacked 400 metre field in Ireland, so everybody is fighting for their spot in that relay team. So it's about going out, stamping my spot on that squad, fingers crossed, and then we have World Championships later in the summer.
Yeah, and lastly, Phil, you know, people must remember as well that this meet carries ranking points, world ranking points, so it carries a big clout, doesn't it?
Oh, it's unbelievable. Like, this is the bronze category meet. Like, I've travelled all over Europe to get into bronze category meet, so to have this on your doorstep, to have so many international athletes come over, as I said, it's a credit to the international, or the Cork City Sports International Committee, to have such a meet on our doorstep. Same with Dublin on Friday, another bronze category meet, so it's superb that the athletes, us Irish athletes, don't have to travel for such a good quality meet.
Well done tonight. Good to see you again, as always.
Super. Thanks a million.
Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, great to hear from Phil Healy there. Of course, local celebrity, really. So it's especially after those Olympic Games last year, finishing 4th that women's 4x4 relay. For Phil to get back down home and see everybody that she knows and all her fans come out to adore her, and a great run there. She says a rust buster after her relay runs in World Relays in China almost 2 months ago now, and of course she hasn't raced individually since then either, so it's a nice one to open up the legs here at the Cork City Sports, knock off a bit of rust, and she goes again in Morton in 2 days time. She said, like, those huge crowds that we have here today, obviously the weather is a big help, but it makes such a difference to the athletes when the crowd is trackside rather than, although as much as we love you watching us here and listening to us here on the stream, getting into the stadium is all that matters for the athletes, so they can see you and hear your adoring cheers. So we hope we'll see you all again in Morton Stadium on Friday, and also at the National Championships on the 2nd and 3rd of August in that same stadium. But the men are lining up here, Cathal, for a final race of the day, and that is our Cork City Council men's 1 mile.
Yeah, there's 16 of them, 15 racers, 1 pacer. That will be Jack O'Leary. He'll be braking from near the outside. But the racers from the inside will be Callum Davies of Australia, Jack Bruce of Australia, Matthew Ramsden of Australia, Joe Wigfield of Great Britain, Ruben Reina of the USA, Santiago Catrofe of Uruguay, Marco Langen, look out for him, of the US, James Gormley of Ireland, Sean Donoghue of Ireland, Philip Marin of Ireland, Cathal O'Reilly of Ireland, Louis Mallon of Ireland, and last of the Irishmen, converted from the US, Ronan McMahon Staggs, a Californian with Irish heritage, former student at UCLA, transferred to the University of Washington in 2023. Go Dogs. So, as I mentioned, McMahon Staggs is a 3:51 miler. Matthew Ramsden, third from the right there in that white and orange and blue Nike strip, is also a 3:51 miler, albeit a few years ago now. So expect the Aussies always like to get on it, and Ramsden slots in behind the pacemaker. Very keen to get on with things there. And they are moving at quite a tempo, and they will be attacking this 4-minute barrier in a big way. They will be attacking the 3:55 barrier, I would suspect, and who knows how much quicker they can go. As we see Ramsden there just almost too keen, trips over the pacemaker slightly, but they are moving at a very, very quick tempo here through the first 200 metres.
Yeah, absolutely rolling already and spread out. We're single file and there's gaps appearing even already as we come around towards 300 metres in this men's mile. The pacemaker doing a great job, and he said Matthew Ramsden is slotting right in behind him. Athletes behind him there will be loving that as well. He is a big, big man, the Australian, so if there is a wind out there at the moment, the flags seem to be dying down a little bit. He will be blocking a lot of that. That looks like Joe Wigfield there slotting in behind Ramsden in de facto second place behind the pacemaker, but as it stands, we are strung out and the pace is rolling, Cathal.
Yeah, it certainly is. Joe Wigfield there just slotting into third, and it is Callum Davies, the Australian, back in fourth as well, the sports scientist, a 25-year-old from Queensland. He ran 3:37 for 1500, and he's run very well at Cork City Sports and Morton Games in the past. We've often seen him up the front contending. Can he get to win tonight? Maybe tonight is the night, as they pass 600 metres at the moment, but it is at the moment the pacemaker, and it is Rambo back in second. Matthew Ramsden looks keen to get on with things here. He hasn't been in his best form ever this year, but he is an athlete who is all class. He once finished 6th in the World Under 20 Championships all the way back in 2016. But he's an athlete who's often been running 3:34, 3:35, but in recent years it's been more in the high 3:30s or even low 3:40s. It's too early in the race to really figure out what kind of shape he's in tonight, but look, moving up there on the outside, number 5 and number 7, Joe Wigfield, then is Santiago Catrofe of Uruguay on the outside as the pace now starts to slow. The pacemaker stepping aside, needs to get off the track there quickly, and he finally does as he goes round the bend after interfering with a few athletes first though. But it is now Matthew Ramsden left alone at the front and has a lot of work to do 700 metres out, and then it is Joe Wigfield of Britain, and moving up on the outside is Santiago Catrofe of Uruguay. I mentioned he ran that South American 5,000 metre record of 12:59 at the Paris Diamond League. He is so strong at the moment. This will feel like a pure speed test for him, and G. Julie does move to the front to try and push things along, and it looks like Ramsden is fading quickly back through the field now like a pebble through water. He doesn't look to have anything left, and the pace is picking up once again up the front. And look out for Marco Langen of the US, the 3:33 1500 metre man. He was heartbroken to finish third at the NCAA Championships, but he won't be third tonight. I think he looks very comfortable on the shoulder there of Catrofe with 400 metres to run. Wigfield back in third. There's a gap now forming to the two Australians, Davies and Ramsden, back in fourth and fifth. But it is Marco Langen. He is running hard around this bend. He is putting these men to the sword. He is using that 5,000 metre strength. 300 metres left for Langen. Trying his best to go with him is the Uruguayan Santiago Catrofe, but he's just got to push the pace at this point because Joe Wigfield is right there as well. At the moment with 200 metres to run, Langan still has it. He pushes harder now around the bend. It doesn't look like anyone's going to come from behind. It is Marco Langan, the Villanova student, pushes for home on the final bend. Now he goes for broke. Catruffy doesn't have anything left. I don't think Wigfield does either. Marco Langan powering down the home straight. He's celebrating early. He's a star man. He is a star. What a performance by Marco Langan. 3:53 on the clock. 3:54 as he crosses Santiago Catruffy. Takes second and then coming down the outside for a third. That was the UCD man, I think.
What a performance there, and what a celebration. 70 metres to go. He puts the hand up in the air. I think he twisted his ankle crossing the line, but hopefully nothing too bad there. But what a performance there from Marco Langan. If you paid into this event, it was worth your while for that 100 metres alone.
And it was Louis Mallon there coming down the outside for a third, and he is quite rightly celebrating that performance because that was a brilliant run by him. 4:01 was his previous best. I mentioned tonight could be the night to break 4, and he didn't just break it, he absolutely smashed it. I think he would have been around the 3:56 or so there for Louis Mallon.
Oh, brilliant race. What a performance out front there from the champion Marco Langan. There he is running across. You see this replay coming down the home straight. He looks to the left, he looks to the right, he waves to the crowd. He has another look back, sees he has 10-15 metres from the field. Wigfield and co behind him, battling hard to try and stay with him, keep those places on the podium. Just take a little twist of the ankle as he crosses the line, but there's nothing to worry about there. He's full of celebrations, and he is the Cork County City Council champion of the men's mile.
He is a very exuberant personality, and he gave one of the great interviews at the NCAA Championships after coming up short of the victory he so desperately wanted over in Eugene about a month ago. But great to see him carry on his season, come over here. Of course, Marcus O'Sullivan, the head coach at Villanova University, is also here, and he'll be very proud of the effort he made tonight. Not sure what he'd make of that early celebration, but I suppose when you win, you can't really critique that.
Yeah, if it's not going to be super quick, you might as well win, and if you're going to win, you might as well win in style. So that was and nothing disrespectful either. It was just a brilliant appreciation of the crowd here on that home straight. You see him, as you called it correctly, Cathal, they come by that steeplechase barrier, the gap opened up and there was nobody going to challenge behind. Wigfield was making a brave effort at the 200 metre mark. He's sitting in third there at the minute. I think he finished in fifth in the end, but there was nothing he could do about it. The challenge from Marco Langan came with 3:50 to go, and there was no catching him whatsoever from Santiago Catruffy, the Uruguayan, holding out for that second spot. And Louis Mallon came through, Cathal. First time to break 4 minutes, first time to break 3:59, first time to break 3:58, first time to break 3:57, 3:56.09. Nearly into the 3:55 is the first time of asking. So that's a man who was ready to run fast, and he sees the opportunity. He's going to get on the podium, get that bronze medal, which is most important.
Absolutely, it's all about the medals here at the Cork City Sports at the 71st edition of the Cork City Sport. Confirmation of that win by Marco Langan. How quick might that have been? His previous best was 3:54.60, so he takes 1/100th of a second off. How much would he have taken off if he didn't do that? Well, I think he put Usain Bolt to shame with that, but it was magnificent to watch. And that's what we want, a bit of personality, a bit of showmanship. Send the crowd home happy and show all that this sport can be. But Marco Langan, he's all courage, but on that performance he was absolutely all class. 3:54.59 take the victory. Santiago Catruffy takes second in 3:55.51, and Louis Mallon with that huge personal best back in third. An Irishman is on the podium, 3:56.09.
11 men sub 3:59 here at the Cork City Sports. So brilliant running from front to back in that one. And what a way to finish this meet here in MTU Cork. Another fantastic edition, the 71st, as you said, of the Cork City Sports, the Continental Tour bronze meet. So last times, bonus points and boosting people's rankings towards qualification for the World Championships in Tokyo later this summer.
Yeah, what a night it's been. What a meeting it has been once again at the Cork City Sports. The event that continues to deliver top class action and bringing athletes from all around the world lee side. Marco Langen will certainly be a name to watch in the years ahead. He's only young, he's only a college student, but he's been progressing at a rate of knots. 1500 metres in 3:33 earlier this year, and it would have taken a very, very good athlete to beat him there, utilising all that strength from the longer distances he's been running.
Yeah, big time. He was comfortable up that home straight, obviously, when he's given the appreciation to the crowd here, the packed stand at the Cork City Sports, and that was one race worth waiting for to the very, very end to knock out that mile in a new personal best, and will top the podium and get his gold medal from the Lord Mayor of Cork. Be a highlight of his summer for sure on both sides. It doesn't seem to be showing any ills of that little wobble across the finish line with that ankle either, so that's a good sign for sure. And Louis Mallon just getting a stern word from Liam Morgan in the hat there.
Yeah, so we'll just hold off for the presentation here, and then we'll wrap up this broadcast. As we see Marco Langen, brilliant performance, and he is enjoying some plaudits from the local dignitaries after that victory in the concluding men's mile at the Cork City Sports. And joining him on the podium will be Santiago Catrofe of Uruguay and Louis Mallon of Ireland, a student at UCD who made the big breakthrough. And looking down at him there, he's still hurting, hands on his knees about 5 minutes after the race, but that's what a 3:56 mile can do to you. It is still a tough thing to break 4, even with the super spikes and all the rest of it. And the crowd are slowly starting to file out of the MTU Athletic Stadium, and what a stadium it is. Beautiful new facility, opened last year.
Big Marco Langen's eyeing up the Lord Mayor's chain there, hoping he can get that gold medal instead.
I mean, they're not going to catch him if he snatches it.
That's very true. Maybe now is the only time they ever have a chance of catching him, immediately after that race.
That's true. A lot of lactic in those legs. But yeah, brilliant performance by Marco Langen. He was the class of that field, really. He stepped up. Obviously, we talked about the likes of Ronan McMahon Staggs and Matt Ramsden being a 3:51 miler, but they weren't 3:51 milers today. They're not in that kind of form based on that performance, and it was Marco Langen who stepped up. 3:54 for the mile, and you would have to imagine it could have been something like a 3:52, certainly a 3:53 anyway for sure, if he decided to push the pace towards the finish. Oh, we're getting some love in the commentary box.
Yeah, I should have held the mic to them.
Normally,
so
yeah, I know.
You could hear it in the background. Yeah.
Pay those guys more, I think they said.
I think that's what it was.
Quadruple their salary.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's nice. That makes a change from the usual tomato throwing that we tend to get.
You're throwing Murphy's and Beamish on us down here in Cork.
We do love coming to Cork. It is always a delight. So much nicer than everyone from the capital.
Absolutely. The real capital. You can see that beautiful scene there on our screen, showing the cloudless sky in Elaine's Scommel to Spare in Cork on Shaw Cahill. It is a clear evening, the sun is setting, and everyone is still in their shorts and t-shirts, so that's a good sign. In Ireland, especially when it gets to about 13-14 degrees Celsius, people are in the shorts and t-shirt, but it gets about 9 o'clock at night, it's time for the Aran sweaters to come out. But not on a day like today, it's a cracker, and it certainly served so on the track as well.
Absolutely, it was a great evening once again at the 71st edition of the Cork City Sports, and certainly we hope to be back here next year for number 72. And it looks like it's finally presentation time, these men say. So I'm sure they've got some threshold reps to do. As Adam Jamili walks by and says, that was the best commentary I've ever heard, guys.
He said, much better than Zurich when I won my European title in 2014.
Yes, you're way better than the Swiss commentators.
Yeah, thanks, Adam.
He did not say any of those things, but he did say hello.
He acknowledged we were human beings, which is nice.
He acknowledged our existence.
Yeah, it's always nice.
Which is more than most people do, too. as we sit in our commentary cave here, waiting for the mile presentation that never was.
I think we're absent our second placer. I'm wondering, did he need to go catch transport to the airport because he had his bag on his back immediately after that race, which may be the reason we don't see him beside Louis Mallon and Marco Langen at the minute. So Santiago Catrofe maybe absent at the moment, and that might be just a delay on this presentation of the men's mile. We do have our theme music kicking off, so they will be called to the podium very soon now.
In third place, representing Ireland, Louis Mallon.
Yeah, and it's presentation time at long last, and the Mallon with the planning. Louis Mallon, he came to break 4, and he certainly did. He takes almost 4 seconds, almost 5 seconds, more than 5 seconds off his PB, but he goes under the 4-minute barrier by almost 4 seconds. 3:56.09, a proud evening for the UCD athlete, with a flying finish as well. Brilliant stuff by Mallon. Our runner-up is absent. I think he's throwing up in a bucket somewhere. Surely. That would have been Santiago Catrofe, but it is a long way back to Uruguay, Ger, so maybe he started that journey, although I believe he's also got dual nationality with Spain. But the champion, the man atop the podium, that glistening gold medal, Marco Langen of USA, the Villanova University student. And that Wildcat was running fast this evening. A brilliant performance to finish what has been a spectacular edition of the Cork City Sports, the 71st Cork City Sports. It's been a pleasure once again to join you. Be sure to stay tuned. The Morton Games will be coming to you in a couple of nights from up in Dublin around the same time, 7 p.m. But from now, from me, Cathal Dennehy, and from my co-host this evening, Gerard Donnell, it's goodbye.
Thank you.